Hello, everyone. Hope you're all doing well. Sorry I'm late. Uh, one moment, let me shut this, take care of this. It's funny how I just noticed today I had a bunch of Skype messages I never noticed. So, all right. Hello, everyone. Sorry I'm late, but it happens. I went to the gym late last night, and then I guess that changed my sleeping, and so here I am. My apologies. However, I haven't had much to eat either, just because I wanted to be not keeping you guys too late. I mean, waiting too long. So let's see who we have here. We have Sazaf says hello, hello there. Remember the protocol: age, gender, and where you're tuning in from. And Haterzik says hello, same, gender, age, where you're tuning in from. Slobodan Milicic says, hi Meran, 21 Belgrade, how are you, friend? Thank you very much. Good to see you here, dear. And Luna is here, says, salam Meran, كيفك اليوم? Tamam, shukran. Here we go. I'm getting professional. Hello, Luna, dear. Good to see you here. Sazaf says, male 19, Algeria. Thank you for that. I hope you are doing well, he says. Any advice on how to overcome magical thinking, OCD? What's wrong with magical thinking? Explain a little bit more while I read other things here and say hello, and I'll come back to you. Pranay says, hey Meran, hope you're doing well. Thank you very much. And let me answer one thing here as well. Okay. So, and we have Pranay says, hope you're doing well, Maran. Thank you for that. And Pranay says 17, male, India. Thank you for that. And Chocolate King. Okay. Chocolate King, how about age, gender, and where you're tuning in from? And Luna Luna says, UK 36 female, glad to be tuning in this chilly evening. Actually, it's very interesting. We've been expecting snow for the past few days, and it's been said, and the weather changed from regular 5 degree, 8 degree to suddenly -1. We had like 2, 3 or whatnot, but then it went to -1 and -2, -3, and then they were expected to be -17 Celsius, but still no snow. Lo and behold, I just opened the curtains to get some light here for the live stream, and it's all white everywhere. We have a white Christmas right now here. Snow is coming down, trees are all got snow on them, ground is packed with snow everywhere. Everybody's at home, I guess. Nobody's going anywhere. So we are snowed in pretty much. So it's one of the best times to have a hot cocoa at home, or maybe a tea, especially the tea that I'm having, which is one of my favorites, green tea organic. But I would have really liked to have some Taylor's, which I don't see the green tea with lemon. It's a mixture of green tea and lemon, and I don't see it in the stores anymore. Somehow, maybe not too many people drink it, drink it, and they don't have it. Or maybe the exports are stopped or somehow. Anyhow, but it's a wonderful day for any kind of tea. We have, Prania says, I'm doing better as in recovery, in feelings, great, and pursuing the triggers, free hurdle in the way, still, it's better. Look, guys, I'm going to make another video in regards to HOCD, which maybe another 2 videos, which I believe it will shed even more light on the subject. I think I have probably shed more light on this subject than the sun shines on earth every day. We've had maybe 200-300 videos on this subject during the past 10 months, and some of them are pretty interesting, I must say, even though I am the one who made them. But some of them are very elaborate in scientific research and based on research of medical professionals and researchers, and such as the one that is 50 minutes, and it's based on presentation of Dr. Egnar, which is a neuroscientist, neurosurgeon, and he's had done many operations on brain and so on. And his presentations about the findings and research of Dr. Penfield from Montreal and Dr. Speary from California, I think, and Dr. Libet and Dr. Owens and many others has been elaborate, which I have had the chance to study them and made that video for you guys, which is very clearly shows you you're not the brain. Brain is not you. So whatever the brain is conjuring up is all what it is his job, making thoughts. But it doesn't know what it's making. It's just a mechanism to make thoughts. The problem is you guys believe what shows up in your head because you think the brain is above you. It's the other way around. You are above the brain, because as you remember the experiments of Dr. Libet, who had these people to record the time that they make a decision while he was gathering information by scanning their brain in regards to magnetic fields. When they told him, okay, they said, okay, make a decision and record what second in the hour the sweeping hand of the clock was it that you made that decision. And they recorded when they made a decision to something simple like push the button. So the participants, for example, one of them said, okay, I decided to push the button at 10th second on the sweeping hand as it was moving. And then when Dr. Libet looked at his data while he was monitoring the activities of the brain through electromagnetic, while he had connected it to his instruments, he saw that about half a second before, when the participant said he made the decision, half a second before he made the decision, there was a spike in the brain. There was an activity in the electromagnetic of the brain, which the materialists tried to use that to say, hey, see, there's no free will. Brain is everything. But then he said, wait, which actually this experiment worked completely to defeat the materialists and brought about the proving evidence that the science was looking for, among many other things that they have found scientifically, that you're beyond the brain. And actually, brain is not you, and you're not the brain, never was. Why? Because the brain could not actually reach certain levels, certain aspects of you, which is including intellect and so on and so forth. And why? He said, wait, I did something else. I also then asked them, next experiment was to record when they made the decision to do something, like push the button, and then they say, okay, push the button. They say, oh no, I changed my mind. He asked them to veto the decision that they made. Now, at the same time, he also said, record when you vetoed it. So when they told him, when they made the decision, he saw there was a spike in the brain half a second before that by his measuring instruments. Then when they told him what second they actually vetoed it, he noticed there was no activity in the brain when the veto took place, which means in your vetoes and decision makings or choices, brain is not involved. Meaning, brain is not you. You're above the brain. You do things that the brain cannot reach, which means brain is only an apparatus, makes thoughts, but it really doesn't know what it's doing. It just puts things together. It's like a machine that is making, let's say, I don't know, pastry. But the machine that is mixing these things up and doing the cooking doesn't know what it's cooking, what it's doing, what the pastry is good for, what is it going to taste. No idea. Its job is just to put these things together and put it there and put the heat up. That's mechanical process. Brain is a mechanical process. It makes thoughts. And I've described it, how and why and so on and so forth, how it operates. But in here, I want to bring your attention. One of the first steps that you can make in helping yourself to get over these intrusive thoughts and it is by understanding them. It's not by stopping them or destroying them or making your brain not make any intrusive thoughts. Brain makes intrusive thoughts in every human being on earth. There is no ifs and buts about it. But you understanding that these are intrusive thoughts will save you to know that this is what it makes. But you are what it counts, because you're the one who vetoes or chooses what the brain makes, which is thoughts, and it doesn't know what it's making. It's up to you. So there is a you, and there is a brain, there is thoughts. Separate things. If you separate brain, thoughts, and you're saved. You understand. You're fine, because everything else is normal. And there have been many discussions about different things about responses, all these different responses, including growing response and groinal response and all that. I'm going to make a video for you discussing groinal response very shortly. But the short of the long is that the brain does not discuss with your values and your preferences and your gender before it triggers a response in groinal or anywhere else. Because everything to the human being is actually associated with sex. So anything that is sexual, whether it's horses, dogs, homosexuality, heterosexuality, the women, male, doesn't matter to the brain. Brain doesn't understand. Anything that has any sexual possibility or presence, it triggers the brain to react have the body react sexually. But it doesn't consult with you first, your gender, your inclination, your preferences, or anything like that, your values, what's appropriate for you, what's not. Doesn't consult. It just triggers the body because it is designed to trigger the body for anything that has any sexual connotations or associations. You can have a groinal response to a doorknob because it's round and shiny. You could have a groinal response to the word sex. You can have a groinal response to the word love. You can have a groinal response to the shiny back part of a horse or a donkey. It doesn't matter. A round dome of a church, you can have a groinal response, for heaven's sake. It doesn't matter what it is. It's a shape. It's because the brain is not a consult with you. Is it appropriate? This is a very respectful monument or structure. It's a church. It doesn't consult with you for you to say, hey, what the hell are you talking about? You shouldn't be behaving that way. It just triggers because it has no intellect. It has no intellect. Brain does not have any intellect. If you understand this, then you will not be bamboozled. Oh, it popped up in my head. So what? The crazy people pop up lots of things in their heads. But the doctors understand that this is coming from a source that is not balanced. So they do not consider that person's behavior as that person's potential. It's just gone malfunctioning. So separate yourself from malfunction of the brain, from the brain that you use to advance your, things that you want to accomplish, from thoughts and you. You have to understand there has been a you first, and a brain was mounted on top of it. And this brain malfunctions. Can you understand it? Can you see the words coming out of my mouth? When you understand this, then you will not question, oh, my groinal moved when I saw that person's muscle or that same gender's body. It's not you responding to it. It's the brain that is designed to respond to anything that has any sexual connotations, including horse's ass. But that doesn't mean you're a horse. Capiche? All right, I don't want to make it longer than that. And that I'll make a couple of videos on those and you guys can enjoy it. But remind yourself, the key to this whole thing is separation between brain, you, and thoughts. You're not thoughts, you're not the brain. Brain is not you, you're not the brain. And watch that video that I made, for heaven's sakes. 50 minutes talking to myself. All right. So what do we have here? We have Hater Kzix. What is that screen name? Why are you guys hanging up these words of negativity? Why don't you give some positive screen names to yourself? What is this hater? Why do you use it? You're a nice person. Why do you put hater XYZ? Why don't you put strong XYZ or happy XYZ or smart XYZ or I don't know, something positive? You keep putting negative stuff in your head, then you're reconditioning yourself to constantly pay attention to negative shit. You gotta be a very quick in focusing on things that you should be not focusing on things that you shouldn't. You're walking in the street, you're driving a car, there's so many things to see, but you've trained yourself to focus on the road, to drive properly. Notice what's happening on the road, because that's what you want to negotiate. You wouldn't be focusing on the animals on the farm beside the road, because you would get in an accident. So you've trained yourself what to focus. When you're looking for something, you're passing by all other objects that is available on where you lost something, but you're focusing on to only recognize and pay attention to what you're looking for. So in that way, you kind of bypassing all the things that are irrelevant to what you're searching or what you are interested. So train yourself to and understand that all these different things can come into the brain, come into thoughts. But just move on to whatever it is that you want to do, because this is part of the world, part of the brain that we have, part of the world we live in. So many things available, but we have the ability to navigate. So become a good navigator and go toward wherever it is that you're going. And just ignore. You don't have to stop things from being there, they're there, but you ignore them, and that's how your focus increases. By ignoring other things or by focusing what you want to focus on. All right, it says, hello Mehran, male 17 UK says, hello Mehran, I have had HOCD for about 3 months now, and I am experiencing loss of attraction towards female. Yeah, because you're pushing yourself to prove to yourself that you're attracted to female, so that way you actually are putting too much focus on it and forcing yourself and constantly saying, oh, where's the result? Where's the result? I don't see a result. Then that's, oh, see, I don't have a result, so I must be gay. So you're constantly doing this, and you put so much force onto it that the body says, come on, leave me alone. Just leave me alone. I'll do my thing. This is my thing. You know? Because if you look at it, the same way that you're constantly lost, supposedly, attraction, it's not a loss. Is basically you're focused on dealing with something, and naturally you're going to be not paying so much attention, or naturally attention, because anything you gonna, I don't know, you understand what I'm trying to say. I hope you do. Slobodan says, I still get lots of triggers. Yeah, so what? So what? What are you guys are so worried about triggers or topics or ideas or images or suggestions that are here, but you're not worried about all these suggestions and things are already out there. It is here because it's out there, not because you are it. It's a receiver. It sees, it notices, it gets information by what's out there and what's in the media and in the different mediums of information, internet and publications, whatnot. It gets all that information. It becomes aware of the existence of all these other things that you're not interested in. And you can handle that when it's out there. You say, okay, it's out there. What do I care? But because it happened to have a reflection of what's out there here, you believe it as if it could be true. It's like seeing something that you're not interested in. Say, I'm not interested. You see it physically. But when you see the image of it in the mirror, you say, oh, it must be true. It's the same. Out there, you see it, you're not interested. And you've realized, you know what things you avoid, what things you ignore, what things you just don't pay attention to, go about your business. But when it shows up here, same idea, same image, or same thing, suddenly say, oh, the reflection of the real thing. This is not real. This is just an idea, image, thought. But you get affected by a thought, idea, image that it's got no existence, no reality, actuality to it. You get affected by this, but you don't get affected by the actual things that is happening out there. Different lifestyles, different products, different things, and so on, all out there. But you've understood that they're separated from you. They're not a threat to you as long as you have no interest and you don't pay attention to them and you don't act on them, or you don't gravitate toward them, because you're in control. You don't choose them. You understand they're separate from you. They're outside of you. But when the image of it or the idea of it shows up in here, like it reflects in the mirror, suddenly you think, oh, it must be real. How could something that is not real can actually become an actuality in you, or you be threatened by it, but you're not threatened by the goddamn thing that is actually out there? And, you know, people having different lifestyles and different interests and so on and so forth, but you're safe because you're in control. You say, I'm not choosing it, so what's the big deal? Why? Because you have not yet understood that human being is not his or her brain. This is just an apparatus. It's like your intestine. I said it 100 times. Intestine makes food, turns food into energy and creates shit. This turns knowledge, things that are out there, to thoughts, images, and things. And some of them are useful for you to accomplish, learn something, produce something, design something in advancing your life. And the rest of it is irrelevant, useless, refuse, shit. No difference. Head, ass, same thing, only to two different parts of your body. But they have no intelligence in any of them. At least the ass has an intelligent understanding what its job is. This one thinks it's smart. And you bought into the fact that it's smart. It's not. It just does a job. That's why you can rewire it. Anyhow. It's like you guys think you've been a brain and then your body was, and the rest of you, soul and everything else was added to you. No, there was a you before and the brain was added to it. So it, the brain, can never be you, can never change you, can never modify you. It can try to suggest things that you're not interested, like a pushy salesman or like a pervert in the sexual context. What do you do in real life when a pervert shows up? It's suggesting something that it's not your inclination, it's not your preference, it's not your gender. What do? You pay no attention, you pass by, say, oh, this is a pervert. Same thing here. No difference. The difference is that this has no power other than you believing in it, and then it has power. Don't believe in it. All right. Steven says, hi, Meran. Hello, Steven. XX Ginger says, hello, Meran. Just popping in to say thanks for all your help. I have managed to differentiate thoughts and actuality, and with your help, I feel cured from HOCD. Thank you so much. God bless you for sharing that. I appreciate that. I'm delighted to hear that. And remember, this thing is part of the function of the brain, can come and go. So don't be bamboozled. Just the fact that you're knowledgeable, wise to it, alert, and understand the malfunction and function of the brain, that is what freedom is all about. It's not about not having intrusive thought. There's no one person in the world that has never had, doesn't have, will not have intrusive thoughts of one kind or another. That's how the brain works. Understanding it is what makes the difference. Understanding that you're not the brain, you're not thoughts. Brain can never reach you. You're beyond the brain. That saves your life and makes you be happy and understand how these apparatuses, different kinds of apparatuses and tools and parts of you function, what their job is and what their limitations are. And none of them are you. You're beyond it all. You're the boss of it all. You choose if they're useful to you or not, if their production or their function is balanced or not, and what should you do about it. You're the boss of it all. If you understand that, you're free in life. And that's the purpose of life, to fix this. That's the mandate. Many people ask, what's the purpose of my life? And I have a video on that I will make one for you, because I don't want to get on with this right now. It's going to be so much talk, and I want to see what you guys want to talk about. And Steven says, male 40, Los Angeles. Hello, Steven. Good of you to be here. Luna says, okay, they're talking to Luna. Okay, good. Bill Gates, or Jill Gates. Jill Gates is here, says, you helped me so much during my breakup. Or learned more from you than any other coach. Well, delighted to hear that, Jill. Is it Jill or Gil? I'm sorry, I apologize. I don't want to butcher your name. But at the same time, please do share your protocol, gender, age, and where you're tuning in from. And thank you for sharing that. I'm delighted that the channel has been helpful to you. And That's what it makes it all worthwhile. And hater says, I just feel like I can only get a bit of attraction from only gorgeous females, and that is horrible. No, that's all right. You're pushing. Just leave it. Leave it alone. Focus on understanding what I just said rather than trying to say, why? No, just leave it alone. It's going to do what it's supposed to do. You just start understanding how these things work. What are they all about? And Chocolate King says, 30 male buffalo says, I need your wise opinion. Wise opinion. That will cost you. Let me have a sip of my tea. I'm hungry. I don't know if I'm going to last that long. I may have to eat something in the middle. It was an amazing, interesting experience again this morning when I did Wim Hof, because I've done many different kind of, not many different kind, but the kind of meditation that tough meditations that we used to do when I was in university and enrolled in Aikido, and we had special meditation. Other than the regular meditation that we did, there were several different kinds: breathing meditation, concentration, expansion meditation, standing meditation. And then we had tough meditations. We had waterfall masugi and we had bell masugi. Bell masugi was at least an hour, sitting on your knees, and then bells are ringing, and with different instructors, and the bell would travel around to everyone's hand, so everybody get a chance to bell it, to ring it, and it would be in harmony with our other 4 or 5 bells, depending on the size of the class. And then, as the bell was ringing, as the certain Japanese sentence was being repeated in different rhythm as the bell was changing rhythm. So for one hour, and it didn't really matter what the Japanese sentence meant. It was irrelevant. It actually meant, please give me the key to the treasure of the universe. It really means nothing. It just something that it meant something to them. But to us, it didn't mean anything. We were just repeating something. something, what is it? Exotic or something interesting. Anyhow, for 1 hour, when you do that, at the end of the hour, first of all, you have a hard time sitting because you're sitting on your knees, and if you're not used to it, you're in pain. You're in pain, and you're doing this for an hour, and then if you're slouching or you're not with it, your energy is gone, the instructors would come behind you and hit you in the back with energy. Of course, I never got hit because I was into it through and through. But that is what Bell Musugi was. And when you finished, this was one way of separating everything that was malfunction in the brain and clearing everything out, resetting the brain. In other words, rewiring the brain, showing it this is the balance of the brain, meaning having nothing in it until you call out for it. It's like training your brain to become a horse that is saddled up, ready to go, but waiting right there until you call upon it. You hop on it and go where you want to go. Versus the horse that is running around the pasture, and every time you want to go somewhere, you got to go, run after it, grab it, bring it, saddle up, and go. That's a different kind of a brain. The brain is always here and there and so on, intrusive thoughts and whatnot. That's like that horse. Very capable, very strong, but it's just all over the place. The brain that is disciplined and rewired is like that horse that is saddled and waiting for you to call upon it and hop on it and go. So after the Misugi and after meditation, mindful exercises and things that you guys now know what to do, the brain learns, takes steps toward rewiring itself and learning what it is to be tranquil, what it is to have no stress, what it is to be balanced. Because there's so much shit that is hitting your brain, because the brain is designed to notice things, calculate things, figure out things, and watch out for your safety and alarm you, alert you, always is doing something. Yeah? So it's so much bombardment is here, and it doesn't have, and it gets confused in its priorities, confused in everything, because it's not an intellect. It's just some machine that takes a load and does things. Load of information. So you need to train it so it will learn what its natural state, rather than the getting caught up in the mishmash of so much irrelevant information. It thinks you got to do something with it. It doesn't understand that it's irrelevant to you. It thinks, I'm the brain, it comes here, my job is to turn something into something, use it. It doesn't understand that it's supposed to ignore so many things, because it has no intellect. So when you teach the brain through these mindful exercises, meditation and so on, misugis and so on, and you will rewire it to understand where its homeostasis is, where its natural state of being is into calmness, not into trying to figure out things and everything and use them, make thoughts of it. It needs to be trained to be balanced and quiet. It's a training. Like a kid, the first day you send a child to school, it still plays like if it's home. It's young, it's just the first day. And then after a while, they learn that they could sit and listen. Yeah? Whether it's good or bad, that's another story. But that is the teaching. You train a dog, a horse. They do their own thing. They have no idea. But you teach them certain things. They learn how to walk properly, how to trot, so they won't hurt themselves, how to pay attention, how to learn things, become wiser, become intelligent, learn about distinguishing things from each other. You got to train them. But suddenly when it comes to your brain, you expect the brain to have come all equipped and all learned and all wise. Fuck, no. It's just an organ. Condition it. So through these discussions and through these exercises like misugis, the mind learns, I don't have to do anything. I like this. It's very good. It's hard, but I like that. Since a crease in, in Cobra Kai, but I like that. So you have to focus on the goodness that it brings you, and rewire your brain by repetitious, constantly teaching it. You want to teach a child math, you constantly give it exercises and repeat it and explain until he or she gets it. The brain the same. Through repetition of all these meditations, different and regiment and constantly, then the brain gets into shape. You want to make a bread, you got to shape the dough. You knead the dough constantly until it gets into shape. It gets real, ready to be turned into something useful. You got to train everything. You got to, mold things into what they are capable of being. Otherwise, they'll just, be whatever it is that is useless. If you didn't teach the brain when you were a child, if you didn't go through school or through learning some stuff, what would the brain do for you? Nothing. It'll just tell you, you got to go to the bathroom. You're hungry. That would be its scope of its activities. But what happened that you think of it so knowledgeable? You gave it the knowledge. You made intentions. You took it to school with you. You put book in front of it. You explained it, teach it how to read. It's a tool. Train it. Now this tool shows up with images and thoughts and things. And you think you're supposed to follow it. Oh, it must be true because my brain said it. Where did the brain learn anything? It doesn't have any intelligence by itself. It just copies what's out there. It guesses things. So you got to be above it, just as you took it to school and taught it stuff here and there, but he also learned how to learn, and he started looking at other things that you were not interested in. That shows you it's a separate system. So instead, now bring its attention that just as you helped it to see things and learn how to learn, but now it goes and pays attention to almost everything, you gotta now show it that, hey, like these sort of things, I'm not interested in. How? By ignoring it. And then eventually it starts learning that, oh, these things are not of interest to my master. So I gotta learn his values. And even though it's still a machine, it goes rogue and it malfunctions. You gotta be aware of it. Know philosophical opinions and understand scientific opinions and ends of the limitations and malfunctions of the brain, which we have discussed it in this channel elaborately. So start being fooled by your ass. Brain, ass, same thing. I want you to understand, these are not just being funny. It's just to want to bring your attention to the fact that it is exactly that. It's an apparatus. It's not a deity. It's not a god. It's not a wise of it all. It's just an organ there to do stuff you order it to do. And then when you don't order anything, it'll do stuff by itself, because that's what it does. It has no intellect to consult with you against your values to see what's meaningful to you, what's your gender, what's your inclination, what's relevant to you. It just does things. You're the one who knows these things. So you ignore the stuff that needs to be ignored. And through this behavior, brain learns and rewires neuroplasticity. All right, let's go on to Chocolate King says, says, I need your wise opinion. I dumped my ex because she treated me bad. Look, I understand you're mad. Before I read the rest, you're mad at your girlfriend. But this idea of using a word that is descriptive to other than what you've done. You say, I broke up with her. Why dumped? Do you think that you have to show a certain kind of a power by using an abusive word or a word that belittles her because you think she was in power and you're lower than her, so therefore now you got to kind of give it to her by using such words? Neither you will be dumped or you dump anyone. You either decide to be together or not to be together. What's the use of the negative connotation that the word dump, the energy that it produces? It means you're angry. That's all. Otherwise, it puts you in a superior place because you feel inferior. Don't have to say dump. I broke up with my ex because she treated me bad. Yeah, it's from position of power. You don't need to belittle someone to seem big or powerful or in control. The ones who belittle others are the ones who cannot become powerful by their own accomplishments. Therefore, they simply say, what if I put that person down? Then I look big. Because remember we said, there are two ways to have the tallest building in town. One is to destroy all other buildings. Then your building, regardless of how tall it is, looks taller than anyone else because you broke them all down. The other way is to keep building your own building, your structure, making it taller on your own merits. That's the right way. So putting someone down to feel good about yourself, if they deserve it, well, you call them asshole, you call them idiots and whatever, and they didn't deserve to be with me. Yeah, that's fine. But if you look at the word that you're using, is because you somehow want to create a superiority. You are superior. Everybody is superior in their own mind. You don't have to legitimize it by using the word. Because you know what? It comes back to you. When you say, I dumped her, it creates a little bit of an anger, unsatisfaction in your mind, obviously because you're hurt about the way she treated you. So just focus on the topic. Say, I'm concerned about the effect of it on yourself, not necessarily on her. You don't, she's not there. I don't know her. But as a way in life, you don't have to say I dumped her. After all, she's a woman. She's a lady. So you want to be a gentleman even though you broke up with them. Be still nice to them. Why? Because that defines you. If you're nice, that doesn't make him strong. It makes you feel strong. If you're respectful, even though, you don't go out to your friends and say, I banged this chick. Okay. But if it was wonderful, then why do you want to belittle her as if she's nothing? Are you nothing? So why do you make it seem like the one that you slept with was nothing? Because you tell your friends, I banged her. Why would you say that if you feel you're a worthy person, so you would also be with a worthy woman when you sleep with her, right? So why do you put her down? Because you put her down, you put yourself down too. I banged her means you're not good enough to have a real good woman. You chose an easy one to bang her and let her go. That means she wasn't that classy or worthy that you talk about her like this, which means you're not that classy and worthy that you go out with that kind of a girl. So all of these words identifies you and defines you, who you are, and gives you power, class, gentlemanship, strength. You treat a lady right, you feel powerful, and you become a real man. That's how it is. There is no joy in harming people or hurting people. If you want to hurt people, first learn how to heal them. That's a stronger power. Okay, let's go back. That wasn't definitely directed to you, Chocolate King. It was just in general, but I want to help you to become a stronger person. You don't need any of these connotations. So it says, I dumped my ex because she treated me bad, but I see her with a new man and they look happy. I keep blaming myself that I loved her too much to let her take advantage. Yeah, when you're loving someone too much is also a sort of selfishness. Why do you love someone so much? What for? Why? Does she deserve that? Does she? You already told me she didn't pay enough attention and she didn't treat you well. So why do you love her so much? On what basis? It's a selfishness because you want recognition, you want to feel and be treated special, so you pay for it by extra love you show to someone who doesn't deserve it. If they don't deserve it and you give that kind of a level of echelon of love, they feel that they actually are beyond you. And then they leave you because they're not confident or understanding or deep enough to understand the level of love you're showing to them. They get a big head. So you keep that for someone who you actually see she reciprocates in the same way in amount, if not more, than you do. Then you are giving love to a person who can take care of it. She will take care of it, cherish it. It'll be in good hands. Otherwise, what you're doing, you're buying her attention. That I'm so good, be loyal to me because you see, I'm giving you all this. No, she got to offer it and you offer it. Both offer it free will. You're trying to buy her by too much attention. And who are you working for? Who are you doing that for? It's for your desire. You're a slave to your desire and ego. I want her to be mine, so I'm giving her all these unnecessary love, so she will feel obligated that I'm giving her so much that she will owe me some because I've given. Don't do that. Women are not like that. Just treat them right and balance. Otherwise, you would be actually being selfish, that you want the attention, so you're kind of pushing her to give that attention. No, that's how they move away because they think, oh, he's so sticky. And maybe they're not even in your caliber, able to give you what you're requesting. Let them show themselves by constantly covering their actuality with the amount of love you pour on them, so you can't even see them anymore. All you see your own love on them. And you think they're wonderful. And when they leave you, you're so surprised. Because it was you were giving love to your own love that you had cherished, you had put all over her. You could not see her. She didn't have to do anything. She wasn't showing you anything. So because she wasn't capable or showing or able to, you were giving all that love to her in order to say, I have someone so lovely. See? But she wasn't lovely. You poured all that love to her to make her look lovely, to make her seem lovely. So you can say, oh, I love her so much. That means she's so lovely. No, it doesn't. You love her so much, it means you love her, but you expect nothing from her. You love appropriately, as much as she does, equally. Until you guys get to know each other better and trust each other and see how much love can you actually, deposit into her hands. And so he says, I keep blaming myself that I loved her too much to let her take advantage of me. How do I stop blaming myself? You don't have to blame yourself. Just call yourself that I was selfish and I was trying to make her look lovely because she actually wasn't. She wasn't my type. She wasn't abiding by what would be the normal standards of a relationship between us. Why you guys got together. She wasn't complying to that. But you kept on pouring to cover up her shortcomings, just to make it look like, oh, it's all good. Why? Because she doesn't give enough, but I give enough. I fill up for her. No, she has to do her own part. And then you start believing that she's actually nice because of the amount of love you were giving her. You actually believe that it is her reflection. It was a reflection of your love on her, not love that was emanating from her towards you. And then you started falling in love with your own love on her. It's pretty heavy, isn't it? But it's true if you look at it. And so when she left you, now you think, oh, I miss him. What did you miss? You told her to go because she wasn't meeting your standards. You covered for her, and when she wasn't still catching up, you asked her to leave. You broke up with her. Now she's at the level of somebody else. That must have been maybe lower level expectations than yours were. Still not measuring up your standards. Just because she's now meeting somebody else's standards, which must be or might be lower than yours, that doesn't mean she's now gained the same level of standard you expected. She's still the same. She's still not measuring up. It just as somebody else. It's like you went to a store to buy a suit and it wasn't your size. You wore it was too tight or too loose. It wasn't. So you put it back on the rack. But somebody came smaller than you or a little bit chubbier and it fit well. And said, oh, look, that's a good suit. No, it's not suit for you. It's somebody else's size. But just because it's sized to someone, that doesn't make that the size that you're looking for. Suddenly. All right, you get the gist of it, I guess. All right. Okay, we have, all right. Okay, look at it, guys. What's a cover charge for being here? 0, zilch, right? Properness, yeah? How many people do we have here? 24. How many likes do we have here? 9. Isn't that shameful? For heaven's sake, get your butterfingers working and click on that like. I want to see 23 of them at least. Oh. All right. So we have here Prani says, okay, okay. talked about chocolate already. Peter, Adrian, Burkuta, Rocky's here, I guess. Let's see. Hello, Meran. This is Adrian, Rocky. Yes, I know, Adrian. Adrian! Actually, I began to watch Creed 2, which is Dolph is training a Russian, apparently, suppose in Russia, and Russian boxer, and then Rocky is training Apollo's son here in North America. So it was just the beginning. I didn't see the rest of it. It's time to sleep, so I'll probably maybe watch it tonight or whenever I feel like it. So says, after 1 year with no job, I found a job. Oh, wonderful. And started on 25th January. Oh, wonderful. As an electrical power network engineer. Excellent. Thanks for the moral support that you gave here. You're quite welcome. Delighted to hear that. Thanks for sharing that. Wonderful. Kudos for you to continue and never give up. Never give up on anything. What you want to accomplish, what you want to learn, what you want to do in life, on your inclinations, on your gender, on your interests, on what's meaningful to you, on what's relevant to you, on your values. You are the one in charge for exercising what is for you and staying away what is not for you, and protect that. So never give up on what it is that you want to accomplish and what it is that you think you deserve and you prefer, regardless of the other people's opinions and utterings or your own brain's bullshit and stuff that shows up in it. All right. Slobodan, in regards to the triggers that you said, revert back to the short discussion I just had at the beginning of this discussion about brain does not consult with your values and gender or what's appropriate for you before it thoughts of something or uses certain connotations or associations of anything. Yeah. And everything in this world that has any connection with sex doesn't matter. It's just presence of a woman or man or this or that. Everything has some kind of connotation with sex. The brain could trigger. So it's not about the athletes you see or NBA player or someone in the street or some dog or some horse or whatever. It's irrelevant. Do not focus on that. It's the brain's lack of ability to consult with your values before it makes some kind of a connotation or gesture or thoughts or image or suggestion or whatever. So ignore, because that is what the brain does. It's not anything different than anybody else. This is what the brain does. I'll make that video and you will be more clear on that. But for now, don't focus on these things. And Fariha Mustafa says, "Hi Mehran, I'm sorry I never answered last week." Oh, did you not? Fariha, it says, "I'm 20. Where is the protocol?" Beginning of the sentence should be the protocol. People. Ah, that's better. 20 concurrent and 18 likes. Where are the other two doing? Hiding behind the furniture? Get out. Click on that like. So Fariha says, "Hi Mehran, I'm sorry I never answered last week. My name is Fariha. Okay. I'm a female from South Africa and I'm 20. My question is, how does HOCD feel so real at times, and why does it mess with your memories and makes it seem when like you were attracted to the same sex when you were younger, when I know I was not. I admired the way they looked but never romantically. But HOCD tries to convince me it. Yeah, and you know it now. So, look, when you're children, uh, you have no understanding of the concept of sex. You have emotions, and it's so pure. You can like a tree, you can like a dog, and extraordinary emotions. You can like a rock, a piece of rock, shiny rock. You will get attached to it. You can like your own friend that is the same gender, but you have no interest to have any sexual relationship. But you think you like him or her, depending on what your gender is. These are all normal. It's learning process. These are not something that you were not. This is another evidence for you to know that you were not given all these understanding by logic. It is just trying to grow up till you get to an age you understand, sex and all that. Then you can focus your attention or, romantic thing purposely onto what it is your inclination. Before that, it's not your purpose. It's just an energy connection with people, with animals, with plants, with trees, with rocks. You have no understanding of any meaning of it. So it is possible that you may like a friend that is the same gender, but you have no interest to sleeping with them. So let that be for what it is. Don't interpret it. What it was a interest, emotional interest to a friend who was same gender. Perfectly okay. We're all human beings before we have a gender. And that emotion runs. And then when we understand what sex is, what these things are, but we don't understand what really those things are. We're not looking at the friend in a sexual way. We're looking at it in an emotional way. And these are all perfectly normal. Now, you don't try to interpret any of these at all. The problem today with most of us who have, every human being who has intrusive thoughts, whether it's in the form of OCD or intrusive come and go or HOCD, is that you don't deal with observing. You end up turning an observation into a conclusion. And then you start dealing with the conclusion. The meaning of the word in the dictionary is what you try to deal with rather than, yeah, he's good looking. And suddenly the good looking, the word association, the brain, again, brain is not consulting with your values and whatnot. It just does its association because it can do association. So the noticing of someone's good look, the brain associates that good look with a conclusion, with a label, homosexuality. Now, no longer you're dealing with the fact that the guy was good looking and dressed nice, like Sean Connery did, or some of these actors, or other people. Now you're dealing with the conclusion of the meaning of the word homosexual. So suddenly everything changed to something that has nothing to do with noticing someone's good look. It's perfectly normal. You're allowed to do it. We are allowed, we're equipped to do that. We notice everything good looking when we appreciate it. Don't you go and to look for a good, a tie, good looking suit, a handbag that you might be interested in, something that is is designed well, is sewn well, stitched well, it's the material is good. We have this ability to look for finer things, to look for good material, good quality workmanship things. It's okay that way. But suddenly when it comes to people, you expect us not to notice someone's symmetrical good looks, pleasant looks, a nice smile. What's wrong with that? But the fact is, you don't observe it as what it is. That's all. You suddenly then brain associates with that observation to a meaning, a label in the dictionary that is part of homosexuality. Now you're dealing with homosexuality. No longer it was about, oh, somebody good looking past. Oh, I'm pleased to see how people take care of themselves. Good look. Oh, I must have good chances with the girls. I would have liked to be as well grown, perhaps, or have such muscles. That's all. Big deal. You're reading into it too much. Same thing for you. So whatever it was, it was. You're trying to. The thing is, you're looking for certainty, and you want to say, oh, what was that? I looked at my, you're a lady, and you say, that girl that I saw at childhood. What was that feeling? Was it homosexual feeling? Why do you have to interpret anything? I have to be sure. Sure about what? We have the right to observe things and notice things. I want to be sure. The whole life itself is a package of uncertainty. But you want to be certain about something that doesn't need to be certain about. Because that's how we are. I mean, it's like saying, this is a remote or this is, a mouse for my computer. But I have to be sure, so I have to be checking it every moment. Is it still a mouse? Is it still a mouse? Is it still a mouse? Oh, it's a mouse. It's not moving. Oh, it's moving now. Oh, it was a glitch. Oh my goodness, it's not a mouse now. It's. Why do you have to be sure about everything all the time? You're born, your gender is clear, your inclination is clear, your interest is clear. Now, a thought shows up, something contrary to that. Suddenly, now you got to be sure more about, am I still the same? You are. These are your capabilities to notice. Has nothing to do with changing or modifying your gender or your inclination, your interests or your preferences or anything. Observe. Don't conclude. Don't go after conclusion. Don't interpret. You don't worry about uncertainty of life. I could be dead next moment, tomorrow, 5 years from now. I could be dead already. I'm just talking to you. But you don't question that. But you want to be certain about, oh, what was this movement in my groinal? Well, groinal is everything in the body moves because blood moves. If you think, it increases the blood flow, blood circulation. Thought, blood flow into organs, into parts of our body. And in the genital area, you feel movement. That has nothing to do with any interest about anything. It could be moving by you sitting watching TV doing nothing. Could be doing chess. You could also get a rose. Because the brain is not going to consult with your values and your gender before it gives you any kind of a movement or arousal or groinal response. It responds to anything that could have any association with sex whatsoever. Food! It might trigger you that, oh, I was with that girl in such restaurant. Or the ambience of restaurant also brings about the romantic feel. Suddenly a food, you may have a grown. That has got nothing to do with anything else. And could be a waiter, a man carrying that food. Oh, was that? You're trying to make fucking something out of nothing. And that is why I want you guys to understand the separation and behavior and the mechanism of the brain, that it makes thoughts and you, separate systems. Then you'll be fine. All right, let's go on to see what other topics we have here. I hope that helps you free up. And Steven says, I've been doing much better, but yesterday before leaving work, I got really down. That girl is nicer to me than ever before, and I pay her no attention really. Which girl? The ex? I just began thinking how much I'd like things to be different and wish things would have worked out. I stay as positive as possible, but not liking the current situation at times. Doesn't matter what you like or not. This is what it is. This is the cards that's been dealt with. And your ability as a human being to be able to manage life, manage circumstances, is what's most important. Not really focusing on, oh, I don't like this. Yeah, okay, but that's how it is, right? So, what's your ability to handle it? That's where you come into the picture. That's what makes you someone who can be confident. By the way you handle things brings your confidence, not the fact that everything's gone well the way you want it, so I'm confident. No, then when things don't go right, you just fall flat on your ass on the floor because you can't handle anything. So if you want to really know if you're a man, confident in yourself, then you handle things. Meaning, okay, that's what it is. And it's not the end of the world if she doesn't like me or does like me or what. Neither way, it's not. And you still have responsibilities you got to attend to and the plans to accomplish. And go ahead and do them. Irrelevant if she pays attention to, doesn't pay attention to, does now, didn't then, you wish things were different. Doesn't matter. Focus on your life. Life is bigger than all these things that comes to your head or the desires that you have or the way she treats you or behaves with you or interacts with you. Go beyond that. Expect a little bit more from life. Pranay says, yes, okay, talking there. Fear was romantic interest. This is the one trigger I find hard to get around. So it was. No big deal. That's what it was. Okay. That's normal. No, how come it's okay to, like a dog or a horse or a tree or a rock? You don't sit and say, oh, I have to understand, why did I like that rock so much? Oh, why did I hug that tree? I must be a tree sexual. Oh, I liked that horse. It looks so fine and beautiful. I really wanted to befriend with her or with that horse, and I wanted to ride that horse and just imagine. It's a very pretty horse. Oh, that means what? I'm a homosexual. You're interpreting too much. That's okay. Doesn't matter. What are you now? Childhood. We do lots of things. Childhood. What does that mean? And says, how do I deal with a back door spike? The same way you deal with the front door spike. Who cares? Don't interpret it. It's just the way, as I explained everything right now. And Sazaf says, individuals who experience magical thinking, OCD, may become preoccupied with lucky or unlucky numbers. Oh, I see what you say now. Okay. It's not magical OCD. It's just OCD, numbers, colors, words, yes, actions, saying, or superstitions, yes, and link them to bad things that might have. Yes, you watch my videos I have on OCD. I've discussed OCD in those videos, older videos, not the newer videos, and I think you're looking for that, and you will you'll get your answer there. It's elaborately described. It comes from seeking for psychological security, which is the goal of humanity, looking for psychological security, and they try to accomplish that through physical security. And in fact, the very reason that they join together people and the clans and villages and so on, in order to gain that security that they're afraid of. In the old times, caveman time, somebody would jump in and grab on the chicken, or at the time little dinosaur that they had for dinner, and so they always were afraid somebody attacking them and taking their belongings, or taking their woman or whatnot. So they banded together, maybe two of them, so when the next time that person attacks, there are two of them. So the person attacked next time to get their chicken or food or whatever, they notice, oh, there are two of them. So He went on, became, added a couple of more people to himself. There were now 2 against 2. So the destruction force went higher. Then one of them got 3 people, and these got 3 people to balance it, and 4 people. And suddenly they've got 10 or 20 people against each other. In order to create that physical security, they ended up, in order to create that psychological security through physical security, they ended up creating more of a threat to each other by ganging up and making it bigger and bigger and bigger. And then people go and join associations, join syndicates, like lawyer syndicates, doctors syndicates, and College of Medicine and all that, in order to gain that psychological security, because now the physical security is pretty much kind of, in most places, is taken care of. There are laws, regulations, police, and this and that. But now still psychological security, which is the most important, is still hanging out there. And in order to accomplish that, they go join clubs and syndicates and groups and this and that, like lawyers and doctors and so on. But then in attempt to create psychological security for themselves by joining these associations, they're bound to comply to certain rules that the association has. Don't talk about this, don't make an opinion about this. So in fact, the mere interest to gain psychological security makes them to lose that security that they had. Now they're gagged for talking and giving opinions about anything that the group does, that the syndicate does. Suddenly that whole purpose of freedom, by joining them to become free and psychologically secure, it actually hinders that very thing that they're looking for. So I would like you to perhaps see if you can find your answer in this. I have some old videos on OCD, which I think is could be addressing. Oh, there it is. There's 6 of them. I give you number 1 and you follow. Each of them is about half an hour, so I must have spent time to create it. So these group of 6 could address what you're talking about. All right. So we go, I'll put the link down there for you. That's number 1, and then you go number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is a long time ago I did that. Okay. Let's see what we have here. All right. So just to show you how much snow is here it is. This just happened last night. That's all right. So we have here Luna says, how magical. Love snow. Love snow. Hence, winter is my favorite. Says, yeah, it's beautiful. says, what's your favorite season, Mehran? I guess my favorite season is winter in winter and summer in summer. Fall, fall. Spring is here and there, and fall is here and there. Pretty much winter and summer is my two favorite ones. Very clear what they are. You know, winter is winter and summer is summer. The fall, it says, I don't know if I want to be winter or I'm ending summer. And spring says, I'm not sure if I'm still summer yet, but, it's kind of a transitional period between winter and summer. The other two, spring and fall, they're just giving news that, new season's coming. Winter has its own beauty and coziness, and maybe a tea or a cocoa, and I don't know, go into the snow with your dog or horse, or just walk. It's beautiful. I dig that. And summer, depending where you are, if you're in Hawaii, it's a whole different ball game. Nothing can compare with that. So both are good in their own time, but for a longer period, I guess, I don't know. Depends what you're doing, I guess. Yeah. And in the Lagani says 24 male London. Salam Mehran. Hello. It says Happy New Year. Oh, is it Chinese New Year? Is it? Or is it the New Year that passed, you mean? It says I have returned to social media. I hope you are well. My lovely Greek girlfriend lost her father during the week, and I feel shaken by the thought of death happening. Yeah. Yeah, you're never ready for it. I still can't believe my dad's gone. I loved him so much. He was a great dad. I learned so much from him. But it's inevitable. That's part of life. Maybe the end of this stage. So we can't do anything about it. So no sense really worrying about it. It comes when it comes, but until it comes, I'm going to make the best out of it with whatever I've got. Accomplish as much as I can. Enjoy as much as I can within reasons and with good judgment. But you can't be kept down by these thoughts again. Before this happened to your girlfriend, this was part of this life anyhow, but you weren't focused on it. So nothing really has changed. The possibility of things like this happening is just as it was before you came to terms with this. So really nothing has changed from the past or now. If you weren't focused on it or worried about it then, you have no reason to worry about it now either. When you were not focused or worried about it then, there were still people dying around the world, but not something that it would make you focus on it. But the facts have not changed. The process is still the same. Happenings have been whether you were worried about it or not. So just the fact that it was going on before you became so focused on it, but you weren't focused and worried about it then, you can still be going on and not focused about it and not worried about it either, even though you just experienced something close. But what are your choices? I mean, nobody's closer than our children or our parents. So when they go, and you have to deal with it, you're going to continue their legacy and make it your legacy. Because you're now your embodiment of everything that comes from your ancestors. You're carrying that with you. So you can't be just nudged or distracted by the happenings that have been happening since millions of years ago. That's why we're here. I mean, passed along all these genes and information to us. So we're here. Now we deal with it the way they have dealt with it. No choice. Deal with it. Right? All right. Chris Aubrey says, oh my goodness, it's been a long time, hasn't it? Chris says, hello, Mehran. I hope you are well. It's been a long time. Yeah. Been watching a few of your videos again. Moved on from my ex now, but still think about her. It's okay to think about her, but don't desire her. Two different things. She is still with the young guy. Oh, now I remember the story. Oh, come on. You know, aren't you afraid of this? Have you forgotten the ugly stick? Still here, you know. Chris, now I remember who you are. I knew the name, but now I'm clearly... Listen. Stop it. I'm going to get on a plane. You don't want to see me angry. You remember the Hulk? Dr. David, what was his name? And in one of his episodes says, you don't want to make me angry. You don't like me when I'm angry. So have mercy on yourself. Stop this bullshit. Get on with your life. He says, but I realized I got too attached to her and her kids, and it really affected me at the time what she did. Yeah, nah, don't worry about it. You gave too much credit to her as because she had some kids that made her more responsible. No, you know, many animals have kids and they're much more responsible than humans are towards their children. But just because having a children doesn't make someone be responsible more than she actually or he actually behaves in life and interacts with life. You gave her certain credits because she had children. You gave her certain credits because she had children. You thought she's mature or you can count on her or all these things that you gave her. She had none of it. You gave her. Take it back from her and give it to somebody else or throw it in the garbage. So it's proven to you that she wasn't what you thought. But still you're hanging on the thought, not the actuality. The actuality of her tells you she's not what you're thinking about her. But you're hanging to the thought because it's more pleasant to fantasize that she's all wonderful and I made a mistake. No, that's exactly what you should have done and you did. Now move on. Move on before I get angry. You don't like me when I get angry. So Slobodan says, I want to veto HOCD, but HOCD... No. You just let HOCD be. You don't veto HOCD. You understand HOCD is, HOCD. It's no big deal. It's nothing. It's malfunction. It's a function of the brain, which in general has malfunctioning attributes to it. So it's a malfunctioning brain. So what? It's acting contrary to your preference. That's all. So what do you do with it? You say, okay, when it's working well, I use it. When it doesn't work well, I ignore it. That's all. Look, Hater X, again, you must understand that the brain is not intellect. So it's a nincompoop. It's a retard. It's a crazy person that you think, contrary to what it actually is, you think of it as if it can make sense. You need to ignore that rather than expecting it to understand and behave properly. Do you understand what's coming out of my mouth? That's where the ticket is. Separation of brain, thoughts, and you. Brain is an apparatus, is a tool. You are you. You've been here before. Brain was ever part of us humans. You choose what this apparatus, that its job is to make thoughts, if it's valuable, useful, or garbage. According to your values and preferences, that's how you make this distinction. And then you move on. That's it. You have to understand it. Emmy Long has a very short message. It's got message retracted. So, Emmy Long, it's not a long message. Hatter says, might sound weird, but Hater is my name. Oh, Hatter, maybe it's pronounced Hatter, yeah? Yeah, yeah. This is one of the features of HOCD. Um, Hater says, my brain is trying to tell me I'm gay with thoughts like I wish I could tell my mom I'm gay, or when she talks about me getting girlfriend, my brain says stuff like, little does she know I'm gay. These are all intrusive thoughts that the brain that is spawned on negativity, it is actually capable to make all kinds of thoughts, nasty thoughts, intrusive thoughts, negative thoughts, thoughts that does not relate to you, but it's capable to make them. And it makes them because it thinks it's brave to make them. And if it doesn't, because it's possible to make them, it will be cowardly. But it doesn't mean that what it's trying to make, that you're making it to prove that you're not coward, doesn't mean that thought that is being made is actually pertaining you. It's just the fact that it's possible to be making it, and then you don't want to be cowardly. You think if I don't, then that means I'm scared of it. So you allow it to be made, and you actually think of it in order to prove that you're not afraid of it. But in fact, these are what the characteristics of a brain when it's on negative mode does. It's capable to make all kind of shit. Sometimes you may actually think of your, I don't know, father that you love and respect so much, and suddenly a bad word, a bad image, or bad something that is totally disrespectful and irrelevant to him can come to your mind. And you allow it, and you see it. Then you say, why? How could I say that? But you're not saying it. It's not you. It's the brain. Brain is separate than you. So when you are thinking of your mother and some weird thought, disrespectful thought, insulting thought, something that she's not, like you think of your mother and you think of whore, she's a whore. It's not you. It's the fact that it's possible for such a word, such a thought to be made, and the brain makes it. And you think that you made it, and you become shameful of it, or say, is that what I think about my mother? You don't. It's the brain doing this, and all you have to do is just let it be there. Yeah, okay. A word whore was said about my mother in my head, in my brain. That's it. There's no affiliation to your interest in that, or your intention of that, or your belief in that. It's a word that was made in your brain about this. So fuck it. Who cares? Treat it as you would treat a nasty, crazy person uttering profanities in the street. What do? You don't pay attention. You hear it, you pay attention. You say, okay, something shitty I heard. And you pass by. But you don't try to say, oh, that was mean. Nothing. The same thing here. A word, a bad word, disrespectful about your father, your mother, your children, whatever, showed up. That has no responsibility on you. It's the brain, because that's the kind of brain we have. It does these sort of things. I mean, you don't stand and question, oh, I farted. Oh, okay, what does that mean? I gotta now investigate it. What does that mean? That means you farted. You go on. Whatever. It's a malfunction of the intestine. That's what it does. But you question every shit that comes out of the brain because you think brain is above it all, is beyond it. It's not. Brain is no different than just an organ that fucks up. It's disrespectful, it's impolite because it has no intellect. There's no intelligence. Like your ass, farts anywhere. And you wonder, why does it smell? Well, that's what it does. But you're not supposed to be, this is one of the things it does. That's it. Brain too, one of the things it does makes obnoxious thoughts. But you're not supposed to take responsibility for that. It's got nothing to do with you. Observe it, it happened, it's got nothing to do with me. That's not my opinion about my mother or my father or my children or my family or my loved ones, whatever. It's the brain has a capability of dipping into the pool of thoughts and contents that has been introduced to the brain of humanity from all kinds of mediums, and when it dips into it to take something else, all other things stick to it, come out, and you notice them. That doesn't mean you had any intention or inclination or interest in any of them. It's the way it works. Why? Because I explained in my video number 8 in the playlist Intrusive, Transient, OCD, HOCD, Negative Thoughts. Video number 8 tells you that all these negative thoughts, intrusive thoughts happens because there is only one thought. All thoughts are connected. It's only one thought. It's a pool of thought. They're all connected. You pick one, so many other can come up with it. It's not like that vending machine at the fun fairs that you go and you put a coin in and you take this, what is it, grabber thingy and goes to the toy that you want and it picks nothing. Or maximum picks one toy, exactly what you wanted. Doesn't work like that. Brain goes into the pool of thoughts and touches one, everything else comes out with it and becomes noticeable. Just because it's noticeable, that doesn't mean it's defining you, it's your inclination, it's your interest, it's your value, or anything to do with you. It's just the way it works. Brain is still work in progress. Don't believe it, you'll be free and happy. That's all. You're beyond brain and you're the judge. Your vetoes and your choices, not what the brain conjures up. Thoughts, images, ideas, suggestions. That's not where your power is. Your power is in your vetoes and choices. So let the brain be the brain. Don't worry about the brain. It's a dumb shit, nothing else. It's a tool. All right. Let's go with... Luna says that's a powerful Japanese mantra they use during the Bell Misugi. Hope I'm spelling it right. Yeah. Says, do you have the Japanese sentence to hand? Yeah. It's we used to say Toho kami emitami, Toho kami emitami. It was just going up with the rhythm of the bell, and then it would go fast and then it would go slow. To, ho, ka, me, me, ta, me. And then the bell goes faster and faster throughout the exercise. To the point it goes, at the end when you're going so fast, and then eventually whoosh, everything stops. And you're left with nothing. Life is strong, one with the universe, no separation. Energy is one, and you don't feel you're an individual anymore. You feel you don't exist, and you exist. Everything clear, calm. It's an amazing feeling. All right. Chocolate King says it's Valentine's Day tomorrow. and I'm all alone. Are you kidding me? Are you bringing that up again? Let me get my ugly stick. You're not familiar with this, are you? This is designed for the people who talk like this. And if it wasn't, pandemic time, I would be traveling all around the world, introducing my little friend to everybody who is misbehaving and talking negatively about themselves. Being by yourself, that doesn't mean being alone. Understand, look at my video talking about alone. Let me see what I have here. If you type in the word alone on my search engine, you get alone the rest of your life. You get breakup, question mark, you're not alone. It says, another one says, how to never feel alone in the pandemic time or in general. Then we have things like, I feel so unloved and alone. What should I do? What is alone time? I feel my energy strong and clear only when I'm alone. And then I have one says, you're not alone. You will be fine. That's the short of another video, I guess. Then says, have you ever lived alone for, okay, long and wide. That's it. Loneliness, being alone and generating new energy. That's another one. It's been a long time after the breakup, but he does not leave me alone. No, that's another one. That's a different topic. Does being free mean to live alone? What does being alone mean? Ah, there it is. A moment alone with nature to realize how powerful you actually are. Oh, that's another good review. All right, so there are lots of them available for you on the topic of alone. And then if you key in loneliness, that's a different one. Loneliness. Have I typed it right? Oh, yeah. So there is one that says how to overcome that loneliness after breakup. And then loneliness, being alone, generating new energy. And the loneliness, okay, yeah. So loneliness is, and one of them says, loneliness is the thing I fear the most. Yeah, these are some of the videos that is available for you to take a look. And we have Ash is here. Oh, Ash, I just noticed that I had 2 messages on Skype, and just before I was coming on live, and I noticed one of them was yours. I haven't had the chance to read it because it was just as I was turning the live stream on, and I saw there are 2 notices on Skype. So I haven't read it yet, but I'm glad you're here. I hope you're doing well. It says, Ash says, Mehran, I know I've been a pain in the ass lately. No, you haven't. When I saw it, I said, oh, he was sent. What was it? Let me look. It was. I don't think it was sent today. Let's see. I haven't even gone into it. Ah, Wednesday. So I said to myself, if it was sent other than it was sent today, he probably thinks I'm ignoring him. Not really. So I will read it later. It's a long one, isn't it? So Ash says, Mehran, I know I've been a pain in the ass lately, and I apologize for that. But you talk about getting your brain into shape, and I understand the concept of what you're talking about with recovery. But I've been accepting, agreeing with the thoughts, sarcastically, trying not to react to them, yeah? And it's becoming a habit, although it does help reduce anxiety, yeah? You're not agreeing with the content, you're agreeing with the fact that they're allowed to be present, these sort of thoughts. You see, you're not trying to destroy or disappear the thought by saying, no, because there's no content to it, there's no meaning to it, it's just a word. It's like you read something on a wall somewhere. There's no attachment to anything. It's just a word. But you're taking that word, now that's showing up in the head, and making it personalized. It's about you. It's just a word. It's just a production of thought, an idea, a suggestion that the brain does. And you need to agree with the fact that it's allowed for brain to make thoughts, all kinds of ideas, suggestions, images, thoughts, whatever. I don't give a shit. It can do that. That's what you're agreeing with. You're not agreeing with anything else. You're agreeing, okay, yeah, you made that thought. So great. Fine. It's like you pass by a wall and it's written on it, fuck you. So, oh, okay. But you don't take it like, oh, it was written to me. Who wrote it to me? Who said fuck you to me? Nobody. It's written on the fucking wall. Same thing in brain. Brain doesn't know who you are. It makes thoughts and suggests shit. And it happens that it's aware that you are the listener. So it seems like it's telling you. But if this brain was connected to another machine or another person, that person would think, oh, it's about him. It's just the fact that it's on the screen of your head, and this is your head, so you think what shows on the screen, it must be pertaining to you. No, it's using the screen to make propaganda, to make, advertisement, to make suggestion. Like if it's a wall, it can write on it, and people who draw and paint things and write things on walls. That's what the brain thinks. It's your head, your screen, but it's words and things that's got no relevancy to you based on your values and what your vetoes and choices are. But otherwise, you allow it to be there. That's what you're accepting. You're agreeing with it. Okay, you use the wall. Okay, fine, fuck it. But I'm not going to take the wall and think what you're writing on it. It must pertain to me. I don't give a fuck what you write. Go ahead, write it. That's what you're supposed to be thinking, in my opinion. It says, I worry I'm just normalizing thoughts in my head like, okay, whatever you say. No, it's not whatever you say. I'm gay then. No, it's not accepting anything. It's just recognizing this being said. That's all. Has no effect on anything. Okay. Yeah, you said that. Okay, fine. It's a way of ignoring it, just as you do. Ridicule it. Oh, yeah, okay, fine. Yeah, I'm gay. Okay, fine. But regardless of how many times you say I'm gay, you don't become gay. That's why one of the ways that many psychotherapists suggest, you write the word gay on a piece of paper, put it there, you see it. You wear a t-shirt that says gay. Not I'm gay, gay. It doesn't become alarming anymore because, yeah, I've seen these words everywhere. I don't care. It doesn't relate to me. It's there. But before that, the brain was trying to, one of its job is trying to protect you. So amygdala creates anxiety to alarm you, protect you, because in your genes is written that you're not gay. So anything, any suggestion, any thought, it has to alarm you and make you focus on that topic so you can keep yourself away from it. That's why it does. Otherwise, it would be working the other way. Keep notifying you you're heterosexual. If you're homosexual, it's HOCD would be you're heterosexual. If you're heterosexual, it's HOCD is you're gay. Oh, see, you like that person. Oh, you like it. You like. That's how it works. In fact, one way to know that what's one's gender is to see what the HOCD nature is, and then opposite of that is your gender. So stop interpreting these things, guys. Just understand. You have been given a brain, all of us, humanity, that it's fucked up. Look how many problems we have with mental health. Doesn't it tell you that our brain is defective in nature? It has an ability, propensity toward fucking up. And we have to work on it to teach it manners and proper behavior and learning to be calm and not be agitated and tense or aggressive or nervous or anxious. or the fucked up brain. Why? Because our nature was probably violent to begin with. And when we got a brain, that is not really organized. And we need to spend our life to teach the brain how to be a good brain. This is like a horse, an animal. You're supposed to spend your life train it. That's it. You're not supposed to be thinking that it's gonna guide you. No, you're guiding you. This is just an apparatus to use it as much as it can. So train it. That's the purpose of life, by the way. To be free from thoughts by learning this stuff. All right, we have Aman says, hello Maran, did you find the Jess Facebook group where he posted about you? They're asking people how you are. I don't understand what it is. No, I didn't know he had a Facebook page. Aman says, the only thing I experience is feeling sisterly around girls. All right. And feel blockage to get 100% arousal because you're trying too hard. Don't try to prove yourself anything. You know, it's like having water in your cup and want to drink it, and you expect the water to prove to you it's water before you drink it. What the fuck are you talking about? You don't have to have proof for everything that you are, because you are. If you weren't what you were, you wouldn't know that you want a proof about what you are. Obviously, the reason you want a proof about what you are is because you are that. That's why the proof that you want is about what you are, your preference. You want a proof that you're heterosexual. If you were not heterosexual, you wouldn't want to have a proof about being heterosexual. You would want to have a proof about something else because you think you're something else. Because you were something else. Not you think you're something, because you were something else. So you would be looking for a proof of being something else. But you're looking for a proof to be heterosexual. Why? Because you are heterosexual. Do you understand? Am I making sense to you guys? Am I delivering something? Can you guys see it? God damn it. All right. And we have Watcher says, hello Maron, hello Watcher, 24 Toronto male, just passing by, showing support and checking up on you, hoping you're doing well. Everyone, please subscribe, like, and share the live chat. Thank you very much, Watcher. I appreciate that. And share the videos on your social media if you guys want this channel to take off. Help it out that way. And thank you for that. Steven says, I just got invited snowboarding by my coworker. She invited my previous ex before this most recent one. It's all girls going, at least, I think. I'm not sure if it's a good idea to go. Why not? Your ex is not there. Why shouldn't you go? Oh, just in case in this time the ex is there too. It's so Big deal. The ex is there. You can't. Why should you relinquish territory because the ex is there? If she's uncomfortable, she can go. And you should be perfectly comfortable. Don't overdo it with the other girls or don't pay any attention to her. Nothing. You're not there to impress her. Just totally ignore her if you want. But pay attention to other girls. Why? Because she has been an asshole. Yeah? In kind of changing and all this and like nothing exists. Okay, fine. Then you simply not there to be vindictive or to be paying attention to her or to be totally ignoring her. Yeah, recognize who she is and that's enough. But enjoy yourself with, other female who are there, other friends, other co-workers, just have fun with them all. And then obviously there are other girls there that you can, interact. So you're not there to pick up anything or come up with some kind of I scored this or got a phone number. No, just be there with your coworkers, man. That's all. Treat her like nothing, a coworker. That's all. And that's what she is. That's it. Fuck you, Ash. He says Mehran always complaining about likes. He's worse than Instagram model. Well, because this bloody like is the only way that this fucking algorithm of YouTube can recognize our channel. Because I think we are not being noticed enough. Don't you guys think so? I mean, you guys have said that 1,000 times to me. So if we want to help more people, reach more people, we got to have more likes for the YouTube to recognize us. And anyhow, Sapphire Dragon says, reading your book, Me, My Psyche and I, and me is absolutely awesome. Ah, good. Oh, I see. Is absolutely awesome. I can read it in such a smooth way. Oh, good. Like if you were talking to me. Great work. Oh, great. I'm delighted to hear that because I did actually write it like that, like I'm talking. So I'm delighted that you're enjoying it very much. And thank you for sharing. Christian's meme factor says, I think I have trans OCD. I randomly woke up a month ago thinking I was trans, homosexual. Okay, that's another HOCD. And Reborn says, hi Mehran, male 21 Chile. How are you? I hope well. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Guys, don't forget to allow me or share with me the protocol. Gender, age, where you tuning in from. Christian, you forgot doing that. Sapphire, you too. I know a little bit because you've been here before, but Christian, it's your maybe second time, I think. So it helps me to know a little bit background on those three things. And just like Robo says, male 21 Chile. Easy. M 21 Chile. And Ash says, Stephen, I don't know how to. Okay. And Reborn says, oh, beautiful snow. Yeah, the snow is quite something here. Unstoppable force. Unstoppable. Mind that seeks truth. Brand 24 London. Hello, Brand. I assume this is M, like for male. Brand is the name. Male 24 London says, I want to marry a specific ethnicity because I find them attractive. I'm the same race as them, but culture is different. This bad? No, why should it be bad? I know there's when you've lived you probably your background is from in a different country. You live in London now for a long time, or you grew up there. Your culture is pretty much changed, morely English than whatever your background is. That what you're saying? But you will find the same nationality of your background, even though your culture is British, becomes very exotic to you. Um, and it's natural, it's normal, because what you were actually used to, or even if you lived in that country and that culture for many years, and then you move to another country, and you for a long time been living in England, and you now feel more British in culture than where you were born or what your background is. But then after a while, the people that you actually come from, originate from, they seem so amazingly exotic in the very stuff that you're familiar with, but you're not enjoying it every day through a relationship. So that kind of a woman who comes from similar background seems something that you have not been experiencing, even though you come from the same background. So no, what's bad about it? Enjoy. Luna says, I should have added, chose a favorite as your life depends on it. Oops, off with your head, I suppose. Yeah, sorry, but I'm feeling silly and I need of much laughter. Yeah, why not? But you didn't say anything bad here. Your life depends. Oh yeah, your life depends on it. That's from Dr. Evil, right? Because I also have a video says your life depends on it. Choose a favorite as your life depends. Yeah, yeah, that's right. That's right. Something I guess I get it. And so we have, and Dilagani says, thank you for the advice, Mehran. I have questioned my faith in God, even believing why He would take people who are so young away. No one knows what lies after death, so I guess it is a mystery. Yeah. So let's focus on while we are here, because we're not clear what's the other side. So let's focus on what we have a certain level of control, in some ways at least. Fariha says, thank you, Mehran. You have no idea how much this helps to take back control of my life. I'm so happy I found this channel. I'll definitely spread the word as much as I can. I would appreciate that, because that's the only thing I can count on. I've tried, I'm not getting anywhere. Channel is not noticed, but when they notice, as one of my subscriber and clients on Skype said, and you guys remember, I have a Skype service that you go on my site, mindthatseekstruth.com, and you click on the books and you read the table of contents of the book, see what's included in the chapters. You click another button and you can read a sample chapter of the book, and then you can either acquire the print version or the ebook version. And of course, if you need to talk to me one-on-one on whatever matter it is that concerns you, you can make an appointment on Skype to have a Skype session with me. And new clients, when they book 1 hour appointment on Skype, they will get another hour from me for the first time, and we'll have 2 hours on that session, on the same session. And then we'll have ample time to get to know each other and see what's concerning you one-on-one on Skype. Don't forget, I'm always there if you make the appointment. And this is yeah, and I'm delighted that you benefit from the channel, and hope that you will share the videos that you like on the social media of yours and talk about it in the chat rooms. That would be the best way for us to get some headways, and people recognize that support exists here, and then obviously the rest is up to them. But I do have a short video as a promotional video that you might want to use that and put it on your social media, and that can be helpful, makes your job a little bit easier, that you deliver to people that there is such a thing as live stream and explains what we do in it a little bit. It's about 1 minute and 47 seconds. I put the link down there for you to use if you like. And thank you for that, Fariha. I'm delighted that you're enjoying the channel. And Emmanuel says, hello, Mehran, male 28, Boston. Emmanuel says, I have been texting with a girl from Florida for about a week, but she was kind of weird because on the first day we talked, she told me right away that she was looking for a man. That's strange. I told her that I don't believe in long distance relationship, but she kept insisting that there is no barrier for true love. That's nonsense. It's not. How could it be true love when you don't even interact with each other personally, go and have tea or coffee or on a, I don't know, outing somewhere to know how you negotiate life and, interact with people, nature, issues. But true love for what? Just on picture? Haven't even talked in person. Says I also told her that we could talk just like friends, but yesterday she messaged up because she made up a plan saying that her daughter needed money and she asked me to give her $100. Don't give money to people that you just meet. That's exactly why she says she wants a man, because she wants to be helped in some economic way. So that's not a girlfriend. You want a girl who has her own job, her own education, and she's producing something. So her reason to be with you is you, to get to know you and interact with you, not what you can do for her. It's two different things. Do you love her, or you love what she does for you? Or does she love you, or she loves what you do for her? This is a question that every man or woman, everyone who wants to be in a relationship should ask from themselves. Do I love her, or do I love what she does for me? The image that I have of myself, does she help that image, or do I love her for how I see she's negotiating life? And the same question she should be asking of herself about you. And he says, not only did she tell her daughter that I am her boyfriend without my permission, but on top of that, she asked me for money. My mother told me to block her, and I did. Yeah, that's right. Luna says, can you please write it here so I can save the word, please? That's really cool to hear it said. Shows just how powerful intonation incantation can be. Yeah, but honestly, I think okay. Yeah, all right, but I don't think that really should matter to you, because it's the state that you're looking for, not the words. But if that's what you want, it's not a problem. I'm not sure about the spelling, but I will do my best. All right, there it is. Pretty much, that's how it sounds. And the slow says, my biggest problem is HOCD is that in HOCD is spending entire day with half uh, yeah. Yeah, because you're paying attention to all that as if you're allowing your brain to be rewired based on paying attention to it. You need to simply allow them to be there, but don't pay attention to them more than the stage of recognizing that an intrusive thought showed up. You call it for what it is. It's intrusive thought. It's HOCD, and that's it. You move on with your things. Not further. Sloboda. Yep, that's exactly pretty much. Ash. So you're saying that gay communists infiltrated my head while I was on drugs, and now they're using gay propaganda to try and convert me. This explains all the HOCD cases during pandemic. It does. Pretty much. Uh, you're a genius, man. That's why I get the big bucks. Don't you see? I've got millions of subscribers. We can't hardly be found, for heaven's sake. When you constantly pay attention to these thoughts, then they will have a foothold. They have a place to be. They think they're being mentioned, they're being taken seriously, so therefore they have a place to get you engaged. And when you're engaged with their suggestions and thoughts, then that is when the brain finds occupation through engagement in suggestion and thoughts that it has made. And through that occupation of spending time and attention to it, it finds security. Because the brain is a spawn from anxiety and fear. So it itself is looking for security to calm down and not to be afraid. And the only way it knows is by creating engagement in thoughts and suggestions, through which creates occupation for it. So it distracts the brain's fear and insecurity by being occupied with something. Just like when we have broken up and we're sad about something, but when we're doing some sports or solving some puzzle or playing chess or watching a video or laughing, suddenly we are totally outside of that depression mode. Through what we are doing, we have somehow taken our focus away from what was depressing us and saddening us, and we feel good. Brain also is trying to escape from it not having a secure place. It finds security in creating occupation. Creating occupation for the brain means to create thoughts, manufacture, be busy in doing something. And it is easier for it to get you engaged with one of its productions, thoughts, suggestions, than keep making new thoughts and suggestions. So it comes up with intrusive, obnoxious, nasty things to your values and intentions. Then it gets you engaged. because it's not interesting to you and you feel you got to prove and defend yourself. That engagement creates more occupation for the brain than merely just making the thoughts, which is one way it tries to find security. Through making thoughts means doing something, means occupying itself. But when you get engaged, it becomes easier for it to keep you occupied so it feels secure, so it runs away from its own fears and anxiety because it has no answers in life. Brain is not intellect. It has no fucking answers. It's looking to feel safe somewhere and creates that in creating occupation. The only way it can get you involved, because you know it's stupid, is by creating shit that gets a rise out of you and you get engaged. And then it feels, I'm doing something, I'm busy. So it feels safe and secured in that busyness. Don't give that chance to it. You focus on your life and build. You're a serious person. You don't have time to put up with the immaturity and imperfection state of imbalanced mind. Imbalanced brain. Because mind and brain are two different things. And so, Ray Maxey says, if you are facing adversity after breakup or in life in general, if you're facing adversity after a breakup or in life in general, what's a good strategy to not think about the good old days? You don't have to avoid them. Think about the good old days whenever you're having tea or you want to. You just enjoy it. So, oh, that was wonderful. But there's a difference between remembering good old days and desiring good old days. See, the problem is this. You got to look into the video I have about desire and understand the 5 steps that takes desire to be born. I'm going to put the link up here for you to look at it, because that's a key for your understanding what happens when you're in the memory. Desire. So just hang on a moment. So there are many things that I have, but I have a shorter one. Well, I have a 10-minute one and a 3-minute one. I'm going to put the 10-minute one here. And then you can look at the 3-minute one as well if you want. Because I don't remember exactly what's in the 3-minute one, if it's enough explanation, but here it is. That's the discussion about desire. Now, the problem with this, what you said, not the problem, the thing is, it's okay to think about the good old days. There's nothing wrong with it. But if you're capable to understand where the cliff is, where you're going to fall through, and if you be mindful of that, then it's perfectly fine to think about the old times with your old girlfriends. Sometimes I'm having tea and I'm thinking about reflecting on my life, many things, and comes with it a memories of old girlfriends. And I enjoy it thoroughly without any intention or anything more than watching a good story, a movie, a clip of it. Ah, that was about that movie. That's good. I don't focus on the ending of it if I envy or I miss it or anything. I'll say, oh yeah, that was a good time. That's it. Why? Because I'm aware that, first of all, its value is no value in my brain for today life. So I'm just enjoying a certain kind of like having a cookie, but I'm not going to take the cookie as my food for every day, as my sustenance for nourishment that of choice. It's just a cookie. A break with tea, that's it. I don't want the cookie to be my food all day long. So you think of a memory with your ex, it's a cookie. It's lovely. Enjoy it. But don't now turn it into, oh, I wish he was the same. I was there, she was. None of that shit. That's weakness. That's bullshit. That's unnecessary, unrealistic, unnecessary at all. The reason that I can enjoy it is one, this, that I have no desire for any of it. It's just enjoying the cookie, the memory. But for you guys, it is important for you to understand the stages of desire so you won't end up actually falling into the, well, just trying to look into it. What I mean is this. Desire has certain steps that it is created, and there's a place where you can stop it, and you got to be aware of where that place is. In the video that I put in there, I've explained the steps, and I've also explained how to stop it. In the short video, which I'm going to put that up here also, it's a 3-minute one. For the lazy bums, you can you can use the short version, but I suggest the long version because then you will really understand it better. Here's the short version. So this is how it is. Imagine you're in an auto show and you're looking at the cars, and you are, I don't know, in one side of the saloon. Like if you've ever gone to Frankfurt Auto Show, it's elaborate. There's 2,000 vendors there and different cars there too. But let's specifically say you're in an auto show where there's only cars to be on display. No other part manufacturer or whatnot, just cars. So you're walking about these big halls and you see cars, and about 50 meters away you see a beautiful, I don't know, a red car, shiny, and it attracts your attention. So your eyes connects with that, the eyesight. All right, that's stage one. The sensory is cut in. Then you go further. Then you touch the door. Now suddenly other sensors come into the picture. The eyesight. Now touch sight. I mean not touch sensory. Now you lift up the hood and you look at the engine, the smell of the engine, the sense of smell come into the picture. You sit in the car, smell of the new car. All these sensories are in motion, getting information. So far, so good. Desire is not created. You're interested and you're enjoying the experience of looking at this car. But when you sit in the car behind the wheel, and then you start imagining how you look like when you drive this car, how girls look at you, how your friends look at you, what the image you have, suddenly now you want that image. Now this desire is born. The moment that you see yourself in that car driving and how the others look at it, the image is created, the desire is born. The key is to have a separation between all those sensories and the image that is created. Because then you want the car, you go and negotiate the car, you want to buy the car. When you have this image of you interacting with the car. The same thing when you meet a girl. You see a girl sitting having tea and you see she's gorgeous, in your opinion. And you go and introduce yourself. And now you're a little closer, close proximity, the energy. Beyond the other sensories, the energy is now interacting. And the ambiance and the shine into each other's eyes, and perhaps you sit and talk, that the words are exchanging. Interaction is more. And then the idea of holding her hand in your mind. Now, how it looks when you walk with her. The image is created. Now you desire to get to know her further and maybe invite her to a date or something. That's when the desire is. Otherwise, you see lots of women, you don't have these other follow-up steps to complete the stages of desire being born. So it won't be created until other steps have been fulfilled. So when you have had this experience with your ex, You've gone through all these stages of desire to be born, and desire was born, and you guys were in a relationship, and you spent some time together. And now, years later, when you go back in the memory, all the stages of desire is recorded there. This is why when you go into the memory, you desire your ex. It's not because you just remembered her that you want her. Because when you go into the memory, all the steps that was already prerequisite steps that was already fulfilled is recorded there. And for you, it seems like they've been fulfilled again. Once they're fulfilled again, all of that is created in your brain again, and suddenly, again, the desire is born. When it was dormant and it was not there because you have no interest in her anymore, and none of those steps are valid right now or for you to fulfill them, or you have an opportunity or desire to fulfill them. You're not in presence of each other. But when you go in the memory, all those steps that once was taken, like any other thing that you remember, is also there. And you remember them, it becomes active as part of what you're ruminating and remembering. And then the desire is born again. Then you want, you envy. So, oh, I wish it was the same. So when you're in the memory, be aware of the stages of the desire that is going to be refreshed. And don't allow the image to want to be with her to be created. Well, you watch the video and you will be more clear about what I'm trying to say. Otherwise, it'll be just a whole long explanations when we have started from the middle. So, and Dave Mojara says 65 male Florida. Thank you for that. We're the same age. Ash Drums says problem solved. Oh, okay, good. All right. Chester is here. Chester from Hawaii. Yes, says male 27 Hawaii. Aloha, Marin. Aloha, Chester, dear. How are you? Says just finished work today. Glad I made it to your live stream. Delighted that you're here. Happy to have you. And Hatter says, I googled this and this is what I googled this, and depending on the complexity of the activity, the 4.5 months, 144 days, or even 3 months for a new brain map. Do you agree with that? Oh, I'm not sure exactly how long it takes. Again, it depends what it is, what not. But this is talking about rewiring the brain that we've been talking about it. Dr. Schwartz in his Brain Lock has discussed it elaborately. And neuroplasticity is what we're talking about. And it all takes time through repetition. You stick to your guns and continue understanding the separation between brain, thoughts, and you, and you will be able to prevail on this and any other thing in life that is rooted in the brain. And if you watch the stuff that I have put in the playlist, Intrusive, OCD, HOCD short videos, there are a ton of stuff there that I don't think you can find it, bravely said, anywhere else. These are custom-made videos discussing certain things that I have not heard anyone anywhere delivering it or talking about in this way. So I can't tell you everything here, but there is a video I have that says the roots of HOCD. And you will find out where HOCD thoughts are rooted in. And you'll find out they're not even rooted in the brain. They're outside of the brain from the environment. And what is rooted in the environment, the thought that has been produced based on what's outside of you, how could they know anything about you It's rooted from outside information. Watch that video, you will know what I'm talking about. Understand separation between brain, thoughts, and you. That's the key. Luna says, oh, okay, just that I want to learn bits and pieces of the language. Cheers, Mehranjan. Yeah, cheers. I did put it there. Toho kami, emi tami, but I'm not sure if the spelling is exactly as it would be spelled in Japanese, but the pronunciation is, I believe. And Reborn says, okay, we're going to talk to somebody else. Yeah, good. And LK says, why is it so difficult for people to find partner? Right now, it's difficult to find bread sometimes, let alone partner, because socializing is limited to it's down to its very, very small limits. You don't get to see anybody. Everybody's scared out of their wits. Can't even talk to anybody. You wonder, oh, what's going? That's what they've done on your brain. We can't even talk to anyone. I was in the gym last night. I was constantly thinking, why is that person's mask is down? Like, what's going to happen? You're like 6 feet, 7 feet, 10 feet away the other side of the gym. But this is what they've done to us. Turned us mostly crazy. While we take care and abide by the rules and put our mask and all that, but the way it has worked in our psyche, we are freaking out when we see somebody 10 meters away doesn't have a mask on. Okay, I get it. We all try to do our part and make sure we comply with the suggestions of the authorities. But at the same time, I feel that while I put my mask on, we should all put another mask up on our asshole because we fart and we can't stop that. And there's nothing stopping that. And it's in the air. So what about that? That's not coming from us. It's coming from where all the stuff is. But the mouth should be open. Anyhow, keep doing what we got to be doing to get over this pandemic thingy. So something for you guys to laugh, maybe. Hatter says, Mehran, I'm going back to school soon, and I'm scared that I will start to be attracted to one of my friends. Or that's okay. That's okay. As long as you know this is HOCD, just don't act on it. That's simple. Doesn't matter how many million times the brain tells you something. You know that the brain is fucked up. So understand it's fine. It's like you have a friend who's crazy and he's doing all kind of weird shit, says all kind of shit while you're walking to have coffee or tea or accompany him or the fact that is a bit crazy or is gone nuts or is being abnormal, then you're not so sensitive about it because you understand it's coming from a unhealthy source at the time. Same thing with the brain. Understand that it's not a sane entity that is suggesting or thinking or whatever it is saying. Understand for a fact that it's a malfunctioning brain. It's an imbalanced entity gone through a certain kind of ditches and glitches, and it's behaving the way because it didn't behave like this before, and it's not supposed to behave like this before because it is simply a machine. It malfunctions like any other machine. Electrical machine, even the worst. So if you understand the source, then you wouldn't worry about what this crazy source or malfunctioning source is producing. You're focusing on the production rather than the source of the production. That's what you should be doing. And no, Slobodan, that's not the way it works. You're not hearing me at all. Just focus on the source of the suggestion. Source of the suggestion is already malfunction, is imbalance, is crazy, it's gone rogue, is in a glitch. So therefore you can't take anything that it says with any credibility at all. That is what you should be focusing on and being aware of. Alexel Igorovich says, could it be that HOCD isn't even a thing cause I get the same pattern of intrusive thoughts with other themes? Exactly. Intrusive thoughts is something that every human being on earth has it. And if there's any other human being outside the earth, they still have it too. Intrusive thoughts is part of the function of the brain and thought manufacturing plant that it is. When there is no malfunctioning or glitch or no malfunction in the signaling system of the brain, namely in the striatum area, caudate nucleus, which is part of basal ganglia, when there's no malfunction there, when the intrusive thought shows up, which shows up in every human being on earth, it automatically shuts it down. That's what caudate nucleus does. It shuts it down. Like you feel it, say, oh, that's a nasty thought, and then gone. It's an automatic shift. But sometimes this automatic shift is malfunctioning, not doing its job as it's designed to do. So it lingers. And the prefrontal cortex doesn't get an answer back that this is not what I'm interested, this is not my interest, and therefore shuts the thought down. Because it doesn't, it keeps repeating it and it keeps waiting for an answer. So you get anxiety from amygdala because there is no shutdown happening and it's trying to help it out, and all kinds of imbalance happens. But otherwise, when you see that the caudate nucleus is not doing its job, shutting it down automatically as it's designed to do, then you're supposed to help it. You're supposed to, with your behavior toward these thoughts, as Dr. Schwartz explains in his brain lock, notice what it is, that is intrusive thought, then call it for what it is, that is HOCD, it's not me, it's the brain, it's not me. Then move on what it is that you're supposed to be doing on your daily life. Ignore. Recognize the existence, presence of it, call it for what it is, and then move on, ignore the rest. This behavior is rewiring the brain to learn how to handle these while caudate nucleus is not doing its job automatically. So manually you're delivering the signal that is supposed to automatically be done by caudate nucleus in the striatum area. You're delivering manually the signal to prefrontal cortex. Say, hey, not interested, leave it. And then through repetitious, the brain begins to notice and rewire your hints and your signals through your behavior and lack of attention to these things. So it starts through neuroplasticity, learning that even though automatic system is malfunctioning, but it should behave the way you are guiding it, helping it, by not paying attention to intrusive thoughts. And through time, it will learn it, rewires itself, and lo and behold, caudate nucleus clicks on back, resets. And that's why sometimes these things come and go. But once you know what they are and how to deal with them, manage them, then you don't care when they come and they go, whatever they are. Brian Matthews says, hey, Mehran, 27, male, Australia. Oh my goodness, what are you doing up so late? What is it? 4 o'clock in the morning? Oh no, you're all right. You're all right. 4 o'clock in the morning. That's then another 5 hours. That's 9 o'clock in the morning, I guess, there, right? So he says, I'm glad to make it to your live question answer. Firstly, thanks for all your support. Your videos have helped me a lot. I'm a man with HOCD. All my life I have been into girls. I'm doing well now. And I understand it's just a thought. Good for you. And nothing to worry about. Look, people who have HOCD or OCD, they constantly are looking for a conclusion. They're looking for an answer, where that conclusion and answer has always been with them all their life. But suddenly now there's a question. And just because there's a question, you think you're obligated to answer. So you're looking for an answer. The question is bogus. You're not supposed to be running after answer or proving anything. The question should be ignored. But instead, you guys go data hunting. And that's what takes more attention towards this thing and gives it a certain kind of a existence, as if I have to deal with something. No, you don't. It's a fucked up brain. That's what it is. And the fact that we're all okay with uncertainty about life in general, we can understand all of that. We step outside of our home and we don't know if we're going to get, I don't know, robbed or beaten or run over by a truck or some unfortunate thing happening. But we are all okay with that. We're not thinking about it. We understand, and we don't know if we're going to be dead tomorrow or the next morning or the next minute, but we're okay with all this uncertainty. So we're okay with the whole uncertainty of this whole scenario of life. But one thing in it, suddenly I have to have proof. It's like saying, I have to have proof that I'm alive. Well, you are here, aren't you? You're asking the question. You wouldn't be alive if you're asking the question, that means you're alive, because you wouldn't be asking the question if you weren't alive. You wouldn't be a heterosexual if you wouldn't be asking a question about how can I prove that I'm heterosexual. That means you are heterosexual. The rest of it is bullshit. Not that you have to look for a proof to the bullshit question that you are what you've always been and what you are, what you prefer to be. Focus on that. The question coming from a malfunctioning source. It's not necessary, that question. And because that question is not necessary, there is no answer to be had. There's no conclusion necessary. Everything is uncertain. So whatever the brain wants to think or other people want to think about me, I don't give a shit. What's real to me is me. I'm here. I'm alive. I know what I like. I know what my choices, my vetoes are. So the rest of it, whatever the brain suggests or other people suggest, I don't give a fuck. Simple as that. Don't give any credit to the source of the question. The rest is already solved. Yeah, just stop answering these questions in your head and stop questioning anything. Just live your life. You know, you never questioned before this thing. So what makes you think that a question can actually change your actuality? How fucked up are you? You give more credit to a question, you give more credit to a bogus question than to your actuality. You give credit to a non-existence of a question that is just a suggestion and thoughts, and in your case, intrusive and abusive and obscene, but you don't give credibility to your own existence and knowledge about who you are, what your preferences and always have been, and what you prefer to always be. Why? Why would you pay attention to a question? Why would you follow a question to answer it? Because I've explained it to one of the videos, because since childhood we've always been trained and conditioned to answer a question. If a question is asked, I have to answer it. And if I want to be considered smart, I have to have an answer for a question. So I'm constantly looking for answer for a question. But you got to focus on where is the credibility and the source of the question. It's coming from a crazy place. Therefore, I don't spend my time to look for an answer for a bogus question or any question. I'm not obligated to answer anything. Have you seen many of these expert people when they're in a debate and they accuse them of something and they don't answer it, they go to a different topic? That's the best way, because they say it's not worthy of me trying to prove to you what. You want to make what you're stating as a topic worthy of discussion by me getting engaged in discussing it and trying to come up with proof and evidence to the contrary or whatever the subject is that it deserves that kind of a response. So they just go on, focus on what it is that they want to say. Same thing with you. When the brain suggests bullshits like this, you think, since childhood, I gotta answer. Because if I answer, that means I have proven myself. That means I'm smart. That means I have to have an answer for every question. No, you don't. Not every question is credible, worthy of your time or answering or pondering. Lots of bullshit's happening. What would happen if every goddamn person in the street that stops you to ask you for something? You can't get anything done for your own stuff. So you pay no attention and pay attention to what it is that you want to be doing. And that's pretty much how you should be treating, your brain, because it's just the dumbest part of you. Brain is. Skywriter says this happened because of marijuana withdrawal. It started 2 months and a half ago, and it's still ongoing. I've always loved women and been with women, but this happened out of nowhere during withdrawal. I don't think it has anything to do with the marijuana, but maybe it does, I don't know. But it's just a malfunction of the brain because of the way I've explained it, that it tries to find security in occupation and tries to get a topic that continues the discussion so it keeps being engaged in it and feels secure through the occupation. And that is created by brain manufacturing thoughts. But focus on the source of the thoughts and topic of the thoughts, and then discard them and focus on whatever is supposed to matter to you in life. Alexi says, by the way, Mehran, do you think Wim Hof method is a good meditation method? I enjoy it because I've done meditation throughout my life, and different kinds of same origin but different style of it from the same masters. But Wim Hof is similar to another meditation breathing exercise. You see, there are two systems of breathing. It's pre-Butzinger complex, which is regulating your normal breathing. Yeah. Normal rhythmic breathing that you do during the day, that's regulated by pre-Butzinger complex system. But then there's another system. In other words, breathing is pretty much the only one system in our entity that is involuntarily, it does its job regardless, but you can also change it. Yeah, it's very interesting. And the system that allows you to change the breathing rhythm, like when you're crying, this is not a normal breathing. It's when you're crying or where you're laughing. These are all ways that you can actually regulate your breathing beyond the normality of its rhythm done by a pre-Butzinger complex. There's another system called parafacial nuclei, which is the one that allows you to breathe differently when you're crying or laughing or you're whatever it is that you're doing in a different rhythm. And one of the major benefits of this one that I'm talking to you is that gives you a little bit of a jolt, gets your neural discipline, gets your state that your brain is stuck in, like anxiety or depression, and gives you a little bit of a window of clarity so you can get off your ass, which you're sitting and depressed or anxious and kind of are not really balanced, gives you that clarity window so you can actually get off and initiate some positive activities, which then, like a locomotive, starts bringing more energy and more vibrance and more hopefulness, and then creates more positive energy in you, and then you go about, you kind of get out of the rot that you were sitting on. It's a jolt. It's like when the psychotherapists run out of options to help someone with some kind of a psychotic episodes or whatever the problem is, and they use a mechanism of give an electric shock, a certain voltage of that they know. I'm not a doctor, I'm not a physician, I'm not a psychotherapist, I don't know. I just know how to talk about it a little bit. So that shock kind of sets the brain into where it's supposed to have its homeostasis, supposedly balance. And this breathing that I'm going to explain to you, which I've done before, which that's why I explained the Pre-Butzinger complex system and the parafacial nuclei, it helps you to get out of that rot. And for a moment, if you do it with me right now, you will see what I'm talking about. For a moment, you will have calmness and clarity in your mind without any shit in it. And this is how it goes. You usually breathe like this, like, or shorter. That's Pre-Butzinger complex system. Now I want you to breathe it this way. 2 or 3 breathes in one shot, like. Then breathe normally. So you do 2 or 3 shots, fill up, hold a little bit, and then slowly let the breath out. You will see that the clarity after this is nothing in your head. One more time. Then breathe normally. You'll have reset, clarity, calmness, empty, and feel great. And you even forget what you were saying. What brought me to this? Oh, meditation method. Oh, the Wim Hof. Okay. We're talking about that. So, and then Wim Hof, it takes you to a different level. It's different than the intention of this one that I just talked about. This was discussed, I hope I did justice to it, by Dr. Huberman, I guess. And he's a neuroscientist, and he's a professor in neuroscience, and it's very informative stuff that he talks about. So here it is. So you can use that. And then Wim Hof, it's totally different effect. You do it once or 2 or 3 times. I usually do it in 3 sets, and you breathe in 30 long breaths. 30 times at least. And then the 30th time, when you release the air out, you've filled your lungs, your little balloons in the lungs, so much oxygen that they have exchanged, and all the cells are so much full of oxygen that you actually don't feel you need oxygen. So it's easily, without force, you don't want to breathe while you have let it all out. In the out position, not in breathing in position, in out position, you relax, and you're laying down in your bed and you relax, and you can go on for a minute and a half, 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes. I don't know if it was a mistake or not, but last I did it last week? I might be mistaken, but I went to 3.5 minutes, and that was, I still could hold it, but I said, hey, listen, it's too long, because I had my watch in front of me. I could see it. I said, you better start breathing. But today it wasn't more than 2 minutes. First time was 1.5, second was 1.5, third time was about 2 minutes. And it depends, I guess, sometimes how much air you got in. I don't know, but it's beautiful. For me, it's wonderful. And of course, he talks about the cold masugi, cold shower and stuff, cold water bath. But we used to do that in Aikido training. We used to be taken to mountain. I remember our instructor would take us like 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning, or 4 o'clock in the middle of the night. We would be all going to Mount Hood in Oregon. And that was like an hour away from our school. Everybody would arrive at a certain time. And then there was this waterfall just about a week or so ago. It was frozen pretty much because it was wintertime, dead in wintertime. And 4:30 in the morning, we're now facing this waterfall coming out, rocks behind, and there's a little puddle that the waterfall is falling. And then the instructor and other students are in this way. So when you go into the waterfall, you cut ki, you learn how to cut ki. That's the expression in Aikido. And you cut all the negatives and you meditate, and then you go into the cold water with just, you have got your pants on, but everything else, you got nothing on. And it's very cold, but because of the power of focus and meditation, and at the time, body is trying to catch up with the calmness of the mind is not calm, is anxiety there, and then the body is shaken to the point that you can only calm it by calming your mind first. When the mind becomes focused on the one point that we've discussed it in some of the videos here, then the body settles. And when the body settles, you've regained mind and body coordination, both centered and focused on the one point, both mind and body. Then you become, again, coordinated, and you wait there until they say you can come out. And there's nowhere to go. Behind is the rock, and in front is the teacher and the student. So you're there. You better focus. So, and that is what we used to do. It can't get any colder than that, really. Dead of the winter, 4:30 in the morning, in the mountain, Mount Hood of all. So it was a brilliant exercise. We did that once a year, but the effect of it would stay with you a long time. So Wim Hof, with his style of the cold shower and cold bath and all that, it's following the same old Japanese traditions and samurai and misugi styles, and the old philosophy of it, and it's very beneficial. And Wim Hof breathing method is pretty relaxing, very good, and clears your brain like there's nothing in it for at least that duration and for a bit while. So it's very good for really resetting certain things. But you got to talk to your doctor and your health practitioner and ask them if this is okay for you to do, because it's not something that I'm suggesting to you to do. I'm just telling you what I do and what I did. and what I think about it. It's my personal thinking. It's not a suggestion or recipe or prescription or encouragement of anything. You make your own decisions on that basis. That's my personal thoughts about these things that I've been talking about in any subject, including the Wim Hofs and the cold and the breathing and all these other things. All right. Yeah, good. So I do nothing with HOCD for 10 seconds. First thing I start thinking is about girls. Oh, good. By myself. Good, yeah. No, don't worry about it. Because I freaked out on the question. Yeah, don't freak out on the question. Ash says, I know you're gonna get arrested for beating us all with that stick tonight, but for me, HOCD didn't come in like a question. It came in like a statement. It doesn't matter. That statement from a crazy person should be treated as a question, and the question should be thrown out, not answered. That's the way you deal with it. Statement, question, suggestion, image, whatever the idea, whatever the fuck it is, you have to understand it's coming from a not credible source with a retarded source, brain, malfunctioning brain, and its reasons. It just doesn't know who you are, what your values and inclination, gender is. It's a brain. It's not intellect. So it just comes up with all kind of shit that it does for the reasons that we talked about. Wants to be occupied. And then it goes on to these things. Because these things, look, there's more of this now than there ever was. Because in the past, such information and everybody's personal lifestyle was not on display. Now all that information and more is pumped into through the media to every brain exists in the planet. And what does brain do with things that they come to be aware of, that they exist? They make thoughts out of it. That's all. It's not personal about you. It's about what the brain does when it gets a hold of some topic and something that has come to its attention, which is being pumped into everyone's attentions, everything that is relevant or irrelevant to some or to the others. That's the world we live in. So you got to learn about limitations and malfunctions of the brain to deal with all these things that are irrelevant to you. You can't be just trying to respond to every goddamn thing that shows up. Don't be like me, responding to every goddamn question you see here. Ignore some. You'll have freedom. All right. Yeah, it's all the same, hater. Whether you were young, you were hit with HOCD, or now, it's all the same shit. It's a malfunction of the signaling system of the brain, and via anxiety and all the other things that I've explained in over, I don't know, a couple of hundred videos in 2 different playlists, which I'm sure you have seen some of them. Higher than all the 70 musicians combined. And Suriali says, Sir, it's been a week since I talked to you. I had HOCD. Now it's almost gone. Thank you. You're quite welcome. My pleasure. That's a very good result. But the fact that you know about it now, you know how to manage it and what it is, if wherever it shows up again. Because it can. It's okay. There's no difference now, then, next. It's all bullshit. Yeah, that's it. That's HOCD. Slobodan says, I see a penis of every male in the screen of my head for last 9 months. Thank you, brain. Yeah, there it is. So what you're going to do with such a retarded brain? Ignore it. Look, I'm going to make a video on this as well, but just touch base on it right now for some of you. In the screen of your brain, you can't hold 2 pictures at a time. There's one image at one time. And the reason that this image, in this case being intrusive thoughts, can show up is because the screen is empty. Theater is not showing any movies. So it has a chance to book the theater and show its movie on the screen because there's nothing else on the screen. You can't show 2 movies on the same screen. It just doesn't happen. Our brain doesn't show 2 images at the same time. And the reason that it can show one image is because it's an empty facility, so it can project its idea, its image or thought there. If you notice, thieves hit a house or room when there's nobody in it. A mouse enters somewhere that is dark most of the time because there's no sound, no existence, no activity, nothing light, nothing picture, nothing exists. It seems empty. Usually, all intrusive things happens when there is nothing else going on, where the intrusive behavior, thought, images, suggestions, ideas can present themselves. So again, back to that robber, the thief that hits a house when there's no lights on, when it's empty, nobody's home. When there's a light on, there's an activity, it deters the thief from approaching or trying to benefit from that house or project something or have some kind of action against that house in relation to that house. So as it was experimented, as I explained in the videos in quantum physics, when there is an electron gun and it's firing to the wall in the laboratory, and between the electron gun and the wall there is a steel plate with a slit through it. When the electrons are fired through that steel plate to get to the wall, the impression in the back wall is one line. But when they put 2 slits in that steel plate between the electron gun and the wall, the result on the wall is not 2 lines, 1 line per each slit that the electrons have passed through. Suddenly the result, contrary to when it was 1 slit, now when there's 2 slits, the result is like 10, 20 lines on the wall. And the scientists were baffled, said, what the hell is going on here? Why is it behaving as if it's a wave that is overlapping on each other and shows, as it's moving toward the target, it shows many connecting points, many impressions. So they said, let's peek, let's see what's going on in the laboratory when the electron gun is fired and we're not there. Let's peek, let's measure it. So they put a measuring device, in other words, a witness, an observer to what the experiment was going to be. And this observer, this witness, this measuring instrument was not part of the experiment, was not part of the equipment of the experiment, had nothing to do with the experiment. It was outside of the actual experiment that was taking place in the lab, in this quantum physics experiment. As soon as this outside observer was now measuring, in other words, observing what was happening, when the electron gun was firing, no longer 10, 20 lines. Electrons behaved in only 2 lines per slit. 1 line per slit. And they changed their behavior just because they were being measured, just because they were being observed. Just like the home, that there is a light on and there is the owner in the home. There's a presence. Even if it's a scarecrow, the thief doesn't enter, behaves, moves away. Electrons behaved 2 lines, no more 20 lines, just because they were being witnessed, observed. The suggestion that I have for people that I asked, if you want to know about this, send me an email so we'll have a Zoom for 10 or 20 people. I'm going to make a video on it. And the suggestion that I have is that you create that scarecrow, you create that image in the empty brain. Because every time that you notice something, everything that has a chance to show up in the screen of the brain is when there's nothing in the screen. And however you imagine inside your brain, it's a dark place. Yeah, it's dark. So brain has an opportunity to project something on it because there's nothing, it's empty, it's dark. But when you create a certain kind of a light in there, what I have devised that I use, a campfire, how you put so neatly the logs in an angle, like a triangle, very neatly, nicely organized, and the fire is made very nicely and it continues on. So imagine a campfire nicely, neatly with these logs, and the fire is gently just flowing, has no crackling noise, there is no heat with it, just the presence of it, the existence of this campfire in the brain. This small campfire in the brain lights up. So every time you look up, you see there's a campfire. Every time you notice there's a flame, gently, like a flag is waving, doing its thing. There's a movement. There's a life. The campfire with all these logs, if you want to imagine it, the fire going, it's a continuous. The fire is moving. So there is an action with that presence of lighting inside your brain. No heat, no crackling, no noise. Just there. It's like a guard on a fort. When there's a soldier with his rifle standing there and walking on the top end of the ledge of the fort, nobody approaches because they see it's protected. There's something there. There's something going on. There's activity there. The house that the light is on, the owners are home. There's, nobody easily tries to go in there. The brain that is empty, intrusive thoughts show up, but when there is a little bit of something you create for yourself, such as what I explained, a gentle flame, no heat, nothing else, or the logs in the form of a campfire, that they have a nice fire going, and it's there like a guard. It lights up the brain. So every time you look up, you see that light, you see that flame, you see that nice campfire gently there. There's a solid ground. Its presence there. It's like that witness in the quantum physics laboratory experiment. The witness is there, so they behave. So when you have that thing in your head, in your mind, in your vision, every time you look up, and through practice through repetition, every time you look up, every time you notice your brain, you see that there. And after a while, it'll be a default presence in your empty brain. And because it's there and its presence is now registered, the flame is moving, no heat, no crackling sound, no nothing, but it's just there, presence exists. Intrusive thoughts shut up because the screen is occupied. But you're welcome to use it for whatever else you want to use it. It's just there. But whenever you notice it, it's not empty. It's not dark. It's there. There's a presence. There's a existence of a guard there. There's a witness. So the witness keeps all other productions that were unnecessary and out of the blue, not your responsibility, in check. Just like the witness, the measuring device, kept all electrons suddenly behaving normal, like the teacher in the class. Everybody sits politely. Nobody misbehaves. Electrons behaved, and the intrusive thoughts will behave, and they dissipate because there is a presence in there. The campfire, gentle, strong, energetic, and quiet. You can try that and let me know how it works out for you. No, Aether, you will not do anything because your brain is not you. You are the one who vetoes or makes choices and allows anything to become an action. You're the only one that can give or take life from a thought to be turned into any action. You can the only power that can give life to any thought or have the thought die where it pops up by choices and veto. When you don't choose it, it dies. Doesn't matter how many times it shows up and suggests, you won't do any of that sort of stuff that you think you're afraid to do. The suggestions can show up kissing another guy. Suggestion, but you're in control, not the brain. Yeah, Brian. Yeah, that's okay. It's thought again. Remember, your power is in you. Don't you guys watch my videos, the ones that I've just made? The 50-minute one. It's important to watch it to the end, from beginning to the end. It's called, Are You or the Brain is the You? I'm going to put that link in here. It's a long one, but it's worth watching it because it's not just philosophical, it's scientific, and you will enjoy knowing about these facts which can help you to regain your freedom of thoughts, freedom of bullshit of the brain, which is part of the brain for everyone. Here is the link for that. I want you guys to watch that. And all right. Okay, guys, let's see. Since I do this once a week, it's now 3.5 hours. Well, we're going to go a little bit further until I'm done with it. And Steven says, the one thing I need to work on, Mehran, is to not get stuck thinking of the memory files of the past instead of thinking of the present. Lately, I've made a lot of progress, and yesterday caught myself doing this, which is what made me feel like crap, because you missed her, because you were in your memory and you allowed the prerequisites of the desire that is already recorded and exists in your memory to make you think that they are being fulfilled again. And then you started desiring her. Yeah, you should know, watch those videos again to should know where and how you can stop the desire from reforming again. Yeah, Brian, don't worry about it. It doesn't, look, guys, you guys are going through different kind of thoughts that shows up, but doesn't matter what topic it is. The fact that it's intrusive, that it's HOCD, that's all it matters. It doesn't matter, oh, this one was this, so I asked this one. So that one was that. I asked, because you're looking for assurance. I'm trying to tell you, don't worry about assurance, and don't worry about what topic these intrusive thoughts show up in your head. They're all the same. No credibility, and they are what they are. Thoughts from a brain which is separate system from you. Brain is not you, so what it conjures up, it cannot be you either, because itself, brain is not you. You're not the brain. Brain is not you. You're not thoughts. Thoughts are not you. You just use the apparatus of the brain to do whatever it is that you want to do to advance your life, but then the brain uses its own apparatus to make thoughts during daily time 80,000, 90,000 times. So you're not supposed to be paying attention to all that and trying to answer them or data hunted or debated with it. You just leave it alone and focus on whenever you want to use the brain to do something for you, and you direct it according to your recipe and whatever it is that you wanted to calculate or do, use it to ponder. Otherwise, you're not there to listen to what the brain is saying. Brain is working for you, not you working for the brain. So you have no obligation to pay attention to what the brain says, does. Topic doesn't matter. Just say, okay, that's not me. That's intrusive thoughts. End of it. It's like you are part of an army, and you don't need to know what the intention of that person who is not part of your army is to debate with it. No, you shouldn't be here. You're from a different army. No, you don't care what it says. All you care is that it's not part of your army. It's not part of you. It's intrusive. It's outsider. So when it is, then you don't need to listen to it to see where it comes from, what it is, what army it is, what it's doing here. None of that shit. The topic of it, the subject of that soldier's approach, it doesn't matter. It's the fact that he's not part of your army is what you should focus. So when the intrusive thought shows up, doesn't matter if it was this memory, that thought, this way, that connotation, that meaning, to have to bring about an answer to every one of them or data on them. No, the fact that they are not what your inclination or your preference or in line with your values are, that's all it matters, that you call it for what it is. Well, that's intrusive thought, and that's the end of it. The topic doesn't matter. All right. Okay, Brian, you have written probably every different type of thing, yeah? Yeah, you see, you're talking about all these different scenarios. Don't. Topic doesn't matter. Just watch what I've said before. Dane Louis says, how are you? Hello, how are you, Dr. Maron? Remember, I'm not a doctor. I have no medical credentials. I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a psychotherapist. Don't make a mistake. You need to talk to your doctor. Go talk to your doctor, psychologist, psychotherapist, and they know if they're specialists in OCD or HOCD, they can guide you. I'm not a doctor. My research on the subject is based on my research from ponderers of hundreds of years ago, and also neuroscientists of today that I research and learn, and pondering of my own ability to use my understandings and research of the philosophers and how the brain works and how the movement of the psyche is, and the connection between thoughts, consciousness, fear, desire, ego, and so on, and how we actually, our psyche ticks, and then using understanding of the science and understanding of the discussions that done by the experts of hundreds of years ago, and the modern scientists been able to help me to deliver my ponderings and conclusions and discussions and ways to address what needs to be addressed. So understand that these are my understanding, and I share with you guys, but it's not any claim to be a doctor or psychologist or psychotherapist whatsoever. The books I've written is written based on my research on topics of movement of mind, how our psyche works, and so on, and therefore I want you to be clear on that. Uh, then Louis says, Marin, do you know you saved my life? Oh, well, that's a big pill to swallow, but thank you. I appreciate that. If I was of any positive influence on your life, I'm grateful, delighted, and appreciate the opportunity to have been of some help. Then Louis says, I graduated from law school because of him. Oh, okay, great. I'm delighted. Yeah. This I have to say happened a few times. I've had many young men who were going through their PhD stages, and they found the videos and discussions helpful. And I'm delighted that your field of study was successful, and you attribute some of it to my interaction with you, and I'm delighted to hear that. I'm pleased that I have had such small role in that, in your success. But it was all you. You know that. And he says he's the only person that understand depth yet so underrated. Thank you for that. Thank you for the kind words. Ditto on that. And she's talking to heterosexual, okay. And Ash says he's one of us, that's why. I love you guys, all of you. I try to do whatever I can. Freedom of mind, freedom of brain, freedom of thought is the salvation, is the freedom, is our job in this life, is our purpose of life, is to be free from brain, from thoughts. And if you don't understand how brain works, you will never have a free life and happy life. But by understanding, educating yourself through philosophical way and scientific way, then you will understand what you're dealing with, and that freedom is going to be stemmed from that understanding. And that's what I'm trying to have a part in, that delivery or transformation of your knowledge and understanding about yourselves. Chocolate King says, Marin, how do I stop comparing myself to others, my partner's past relationship and my married friends, specifically? Thank you. Well, you just don't, because they're not you. You cannot compare yourself with the others at all. You only compare yourself with your yesterday. You only compare yourself with yourself. How better can you do something? That's all. You're not responsible how other people live, how good or bad their life is, or how they deal with things. And you'd be surprised that all those people that you think their life is better than you and they handle things better than you, they have the same crap in their head that you have. The same shortcomings that you have. Because brain of the humanity is the same. It's same brain, same abilities, same malfunctioning, same disabilities, same limitations. It's the brain. It's the same brain in all of us. And the consciousness is not the individual consciousness. It is one consciousness that your instrument has access to it. Huh? So if you understand that, you see that our challenges are all the same. The people that you have a role model of, oh, they're so gaudy. No, they have the same shit in their heads that you do. It's just that you can't tell from their smile and 5 minutes that you meet them. And they, the facade that they put on. Oh yeah, oh, see, of course. Oh, yeah. Or she has a, Louis Vuitton bag on and she thinks she got it all. Or the body looks perfectly fit. And so these are all physical things. But the brain still got the same shit in it, concerns. Don't be fooled by what you see, what you understand and have a knowledge of. is not visible. It's in their heads. And their heads is no different than yours. You've got shit in your heads, they've got shit in their heads. So stop comparing yourself because you think that they're better than you. No. You look the same in their eyes as, wow, he's got it all figured out. But once you see the content of the consciousness, then you'll see all the same shit. Same challenges, same problems, same everything. So stop that because you're doing something that is it's got nothing to do with you, really. You're comparing yourself with the others. Why? You have kind of customized your own way of things, even though the brain is functioning, malfunctioning the same way, and consciousness is the universal consciousness, but you just get bits and pieces of it here and there. And depending on what bits and pieces you get, you have different levels of approach to life from different brains, but the brain is the same, has the same limitations, has the same concerns, has the same fears, has the same anxieties, the same depressions, has the same bullshit, the same OCDs, the same HOCD, all that shit is the same. So what's there to compare? Be happy that it's you, because they could do worse. Ash says he's been through the same shit that we have and has about 30 years on all of us. That's true. I've been through lots of stuff, but that helped me to learn. Knowledge is the key. It's just that I had a strong mind. It was trained through Aikido. So I only thought of whatever showed up as bad thoughts, nasty thoughts. I didn't go any further from it. Didn't have a label attached to it or didn't have a conclusion about it that, oh, I'm now this. No, just the bad thoughts. And I tried to deal with it. How can I destroy it? How can I get rid of it? And I tried so many different things, and it was interesting how I could progress. And then eventually, because of my standing my ground, believing in my values, who I am, that there was a me before a brain, a thought was ever added to the capabilities of this entity, I couldn't be touched, couldn't be changed. It would be annoying, but there was no label that I allowed it to be placed on it or on myself. I said, oh, that's nasty. That's my opinion. That's for me. That's nasty. That's bullshit. That's disgusting. Then, to me, through my values, I always went to my core, to my values, and able to protect my values, keep them sacred. They were kept sacred. So no attack would have done anything to it. It would annoy me to dodge maybe attacks, when somebody throws something. But I had a shield. Even if it would hit me, it would hit me. It wouldn't do anything to me. The thoughts would have come, disgusting, things annoying, of anything, could be anything. Anybody, mother, father, friends. But the fact that I believed in me, not thoughts, and understood that thoughts or other people's opinion, whatever they say, it's contrary to what my values are, then they have no credibility or no interest. They're annoying. It's like somebody swears at you. You get annoyed. But that swear doesn't really do anything to the nature of you or your family. It's an annoying, swearing, disrespectful. That's all. And that's how my mind was very strong. So I could be annoyed and bothered, but it wouldn't affect me in my persona and personality. It would still be same persona, same personality. So you got to focus on your core principles. You got to focus on your gatekeeper. Dr. Phillipson talks about gatekeeper. Dr. Schwartz calls it wise advocate. I call it superconsciousness. Your core principle values are all safeguarded there. And anything attacks you, you refer to that. Stay with that. And that shield That protection keeps you separate, and doesn't matter what topic attacks you, you're safe because they don't align with your values. So you say, okay, that's what you are, that's what you suggest. It's got nothing to do with me because I am this stuff, this values that I have. And the stuff that you're saying doesn't measure up with my values, doesn't line up with that. So therefore, I don't care. It's just something is said, something is conjured up. Doesn't do anything to me other than annoy me. And when I understand the process of it, then it doesn't even annoy me anymore because I just realized it's like a crazy person. I've realized it's crazy. It was bothering me when I didn't think the person is crazy. I thought it must mean something. But when I realize it's crazy, then it doesn't matter what it says. The source is crazy. The source is bogus. The source is not credible. That's the end of that. So when you focus on your values, then it doesn't matter what else. It's just insulting to you. It depends on whatever your gender is. And that's it. There's nothing else there for you to consider as any threat. So that's one thing you got to focus on, to know that you're above all these things. These are thoughts. These are brain's production, not yours. Brain suggestion, not your inclination or interests. Yeah, you see, Slobodan says, dude, if someone asked me if I'm gay before HOCD, I would smash his face. See, that's the whole thing. You don't need to smash anyone's face. You don't need to smash the thought. You just say, okay, the thought exists. That's what the thought thinks. Okay, but that's not me. It's a thought. That's OCD. That's not me. That's HOCD. That's not me. Doesn't matter. People can say whatever they want to say. They can be whatever they want to be. But you have your own veto and preferences, and that's what you focus on. So you don't have to smash anybody. If somebody calls you gay, says, "Oh, really? That's what you think?" Well, I'm not. So maybe you continue your search. That's it. You don't have to get mad, because emotions doesn't change in that way, in these sort of things. So you get mad or not mad makes no difference. The question is on credibility. So that's exactly how you deal with thoughts. They show up, they show up. It's okay. That's a thought, shows up. What does it have to do with me? It's a thought. Got to look at it that way. They can be there. They're allowed to exist. It's thoughts. All right. Guys, it seems to me that it's, I guess, enough for this, about 4 hours. And we're discussing things and people are talking to each other. That's good. That's good. I don't see any question here for me anymore. And discussion between you guys, which is good. And hello, A says, hello Mehran, love your videos, thank you so much. Female 31 from London, UK, and thank you very much, and love for the fact that you love my videos, and I appreciate it. Please share them on your social media if you like. And A says, what would you advise a single woman who is getting pressure to get married to whoever because she's getting older, but she would rather be single than unhappy? Then be single. They're telling you, they're pushing you to get married because of their own tradition, that it makes them feel like, oh yeah, my daughter is married and she's got 5 children or 2 children, and her husband is a doctor or whatever the hell he is. But they forget about the little fact in there that says, but she's miserable and not happy because she didn't want to get married, and or the husband that she has now, it's not really her choice. It was just something that we just told her, you got to get married because you're getting old. You got to make your decision. Can you make a decision for future that later on you will not regret that you weren't married? And if the right person shows up, then yeah, maybe you changed your decision. But if not, why should you get married for the sake of getting married? What's there in there? Right now, you go to work, you come home, you have your own finances, you take care of your own time, and you do whatever. Yeah, sometimes you probably miss intimacy and romances and all that, but that has to be with the right person. You can't just say, "Oh, because I miss all that thing, let me, get a guy at home." So you, but that's not romance. That's after a few months, no longer is. It seems like the kind of a romance that you were looking for. So if your parents say that, "Oh, you're getting old, you should get married," well, they say, "Well, you tell them, okay, go get married yourself again." If the right guy shows up, then you decide. If not, why should you get married to just because for the sake of marriage? What's in there? Well, you tell me if there's anything good about it, just the idea of getting married, not to whom you're getting married, then let me know. Maybe I should look into it again. Because the concept of getting married itself doesn't have anything unless it's a right, match. All right. All right, okay. All right, guys, it looks like we hit all the questions. I'm glad that I could last this long and answer all the questions possible. And I probably, I have another one, 9 o'clock tonight, and it's time for me to end this one. In the meantime, in case I don't see you guys tonight, and perhaps next week, Saturday, 1 p.m., and Saturday, 9 p.m., we have a live stream. In the meantime, I love you all. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to share a thing or two with you. And look forward to talk to you again. In the meantime, be good to yourself. To the others, I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.